that history can be a little watered down if we don't preserve it because other groups of people are coming and all of that. So if you don't preserve it, then it's just gonna be wiped away, in my opinion. So we gotta have like some ethnic pride in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. But let me just put this way. There a couple of months ago, I started using the word Negropean. What Black History Month is, it is the antidote for Negropeanism. Because what it's telling the black person is that, listen, you have culture before the European, you have fashion before the European, and you have art before the European. Every factor that constitute community existed before the European. And even while we were with the European, we had great men who had possessed the ability to stand up and perform at such a level that the European influence did not make them who they are. They are who they are because them black first. No, that is what it's about. No, when somebody say who is to blame, or what we're doing is that we're putting on Negropean clothing and say this is comfortable. I am comfortable as a Negropean, and I have no problem with the Negropean because what the Negropean has shown us is that he is good and just, and he has sprinkled freedom all over the world, and he's a good person, and there's no problem following in his footsteps. While other black people are saying that, listen, young man, you need to know who you are. Young woman, you need to know who you are. You need to know who affected you and what roots you come from. The tree that it is today come from strong roots. Black History Month is to prevent Negropeanism. So when a Negro and a black man fighting against Black History Month, it's because he's comfortable with the Negropean ideals. He's comfortable being a black European. That's what a Negropean is. But that's my two cents.
Who's fighting against Black History Month?
All right. You might not say it that way, but when you explain or you explain, if somebody listens to you, it's like you're saying Black History Month don't really have a problem. It shouldn't. If it exists, it exists, and if it don't exist, it don't exist.
No, that's not what I'm attempting to explain at all. I'm
You
more
said
so
Carter G. Woodson's framework.
I'm more so I'm more so saying that if we could find a way to be more focused on upgrading Black History Month to fit our current needs today, to me that makes more sense than preserving what Carter G. Woodson, like doing it exactly the way Carter G. Woodson did it. That's not as important to me as making it as effective as possible.
I agree with that. Hey, Chef, that's the question you asked
that's
the other
not the
day, Chef,
same as
regarding
you realize the audacity of what you just said a while ago. That you saying that if the black man in America today need to upgrade Carter G. Wilson work, what Carter G. Wilson present is not to the benefit of black people nowadays. It needs to be upgraded. That's what you're saying? Because it surely sounds like that's what you're saying.
I'll catch my words. I'm gonna say the
saying.
exact sentence again.
Say it again.
If starting off, if it can be upgraded to fit our current paradigm and needs today, right? We should be more focused.
What do you mean by that? Expand on that, please. What is
right? Well, what I mean
paradigm?
is, again, what I mean was, and when I started off, I was saying I don't share that sentiment as if I need to recover my humanity from antiquity. I don't believe that.
He's saying leave out the Negro part, leave out the Negro solitary racial solidarity
you,
part today.
I didn't realize. I didn't even
and
realize.
Use it.
One at a time. One at a time. One at a time. One at a time.
I felt completely human. You get what I'm saying? I didn't realize that scientific racism had a narrative that they've been running from the 1960s. I felt like, you know what I'm saying? People treat me with respect. I treat them with respect. I don't have like this. I don't have like this.
And that's an indication that the times have become times have progressed since Carter. So that's all he's really saying. That's an indication.
What specifically would you change though? Logic. Like what specifically would you change about the framework?
I mean, to me, to me, it better serves me and my thinking, right? Is being more focused on forward thinking ideas, not necessarily
But yeah,
recovering something from our
Hold on,
past.
please.
Now
So just so
maybe
you
maybe
know,
it
then,
can maybe it can do both, and it's flexible enough to do
Yeah, it
that.
gotta be
But
both. Yeah,
but
well,
but to
gotta be
well, the
both.
me,
whole,
Gotta go to the
but
past. Got
but
to.
but to me, right? I would wanna pursue those ideas that push us forward. I don't
all right.
think that. I
Well,
mean, to me, again, I'm gonna say I don't. I
You can,
have a
yeah, you can
hard
use the
time
past to push
relating
you
to.
forward. Yeah.
I have a hard
yeah, but
time relating to why humanity was lost 5,000 years
well,
ago, and I
what you're
don't
talking
necessarily
about,
feel that.
yeah, I get that part. But what you're talking about then is not history at that point. You're talking about something else. So I
Maybe.
mean, yeah, well, there is no maybe. History is literally about the study of the past. You're saying you're concerned
right.
about now and going forward. So I
You're supposed
mean,
to use the past to
I
understand,
mean
you know.
that's what I thought the purpose of curating Black History Month to bring light on certain individuals was about. To me, that's what I
Yeah,
always thought it
yeah,
was about.
yeah. I agree.
I
I'm
so,
thought
with you.
that
I'm with
certain
so
people were
that's
talked about
actually
during this month for that particular reason, because they inspired us to do more that was related to our present and future.
right. So
you. As
that's why I asked
Americans.
you specifically, what would you? Because the way how Carter G. Woodson envisioned it or how he framed it was, yes, Black American history, but also place it within a holistic context of world history, right? And specifically, Black people through the ages. So you're saying you'd redact that part of it. Like I'm looking for specifics. Like if you had the reins of
Yeah, the racial
control,
solidarity part.
yeah,
That's what he's saying. Yeah, yeah. The Negro racial solidarity, scientific
The
racism.
Pan African aspect, then.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like you said, it's two different things that Carter G. Woodson was doing. There was a racial solidarity point of the
There's
Negro
one.
being etched out, and the other one was ethnic American history and restoring that and preserving African American history from slavery up until whatever point and taking that pride in it. But yeah, during that time, that was needed. I'm not even knocking him for that, but I think Logic is saying he's not a product of those times, so he's able to, see that okay, I'm an American and I'm not seeing firsthand these things, or I don't resonate with the
So
political
that, but
message that was being said at that
I'm
time.
looking for specifics then, right? So let's say if somebody wanted to teach about metallurgy in West Africa, right, going back to like 3000 BC or something, and they
Yeah,
were to credit, let's say Job, because he was one of the instrumental people in bringing that information forward. We redacting that part of it because I mean,
he's saying, does
give
he
me some
need do in 2026? Does an African American need, or just a layman African American need some shit from 3000 BC to make them restore something psychologically? I think Logic is saying we're not in those times anymore to where that message has to be
Yeah, but I'm not even concerned about the purpose of it. I'm specifically asking, okay, what are we jettisoning? Because we're
Not
I'm
some.
out
saying
of
we,
go ahead, Logic. I tried to set the go ahead, Logic. Do you think?
no, I'm saying no. I'm talking about from a practical standpoint. We've already made a decision insofar as, hey, certain things aren't useful going forward, and I'm literally asking, okay, what is going to get jettisoned? Just tell me, like, okay, we were chopping that, we were redacting that, we keeping this. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm asking. So something like metallurgy in West Africa, are we getting rid of that? What are we doing with that?
Um, I think it's a great fact. So I just answered your question. I think it's a great fact. I mean, it's not a useless fact. It's a great fact. Now, are you saying that I'm using that to propel myself forward in the future?
No, I'm leaving that part of it out. I'm saying logic has the control.
But that you can't leave it out, because that's the center of my argument. Is that I'm saying, how does that propel me into the future? Now that I know that that
I don't think it does though. Like I don't think knowing about Martin Luther King's
all the facts about it.
I don't think knowing about Martin Luther King's speech or something necessarily propels anyone, right? Because those type of things, when you talk about inspiration, how do you even measure something like that? Like if someone says, I was inspired by this story of Malcolm X or Medgar Evers or whatever, how do we measure that? And is the implication then that if we were to completely remove Martin Luther King from the history books, what changes for Black Americans? Is it going to change your life tomorrow, Logic? Is it going to stop you from? I don't think so. So I think you could say that same thing that you're saying about certain parts
No,
that
so
you don't find palatable. I think you could say that pretty much about all history.
so you say, you're not saying that if America didn't go through all the political changes as a result of Martin Luther King wouldn't affect our future, is you?
Yeah, it would affect their future. I'm saying from an individual standpoint,
Right. Well,
insofar as
I put it
their
so look, so the inspiration I get from Martin Luther King is it lets me know we need more leaders like that. We definitely need more people who are vocal and get in and get in front of the proverbial man, I don't want to say it, but we need more people like that. Whether you want to have some critiques about him, right, or
yeah,
inspires
but
me
Um,
to look up to.
if a
So,
young
Haskell,
kid,
what
Haskell,
what
if a
can
what
I,
young
what
kid
does
says,
metallurgy inspire me to do, or you
Haskell,
for that matter, because you brought it up.
Haskell, can I
no,
say something to
that
Haskell,
was an
please?
go ahead, Sue.
It's the end of the fight in Mortal Kombat. The timer has run out. It's time for you to finish it. Because I realize that you're walking him slowly. Because what I have recognized with this conversation, and you have recognized it also, and I realize that you took it over, that I wouldn't get too stupish. Because what these two young men have, they have a problem with when it comes to race, and they have a problem when it comes to outside people from the outside having a say. But find me a better word for it, asking. My brain hurt me. Like
I, I,
out
I don't know. I don't have a problem
external
with.
external things coming into the American culture, right? Not recognizing that white people don't have a problem with external other white people coming in. The Germans don't have a problem with America don't have a problem with Germans introducing um, frankfurters or sausages into the diet. Them
Yeah,
don't have a
I
problem with
mean,
pasta coming to the diet.
if a young kid doesn't know about the 1 million things George Washington Carver did with a peanut,
Yeah,
is it going
yeah.
to impair his? Is it going to impair his life in any way in terms
No,
of
but
being
when
functional?
I'm saying when you young though,
no,
Haskell, right? And you know as an
but
ethnic
when he
group, how hold
when
on,
he
hold on.
finds out about it, he walks around with a different sense
Two
of
P's
pride.
talking about
Yeah,
now.
yeah, the way how humans work, we
Come on,
always
Lord.
want to see whatever field that we in or endeavor. We have African Americans here that contributed in a lot
Okay,
of different
I
fields.
made a
So
mistake. I thought someone
when you
said that
young
that
and you
kind of doesn't matter. I just
no, hold on. No, I'm saying my perspective is like I think it's important for
Great
a young
fact.
kid to learn
I'm
about
trying to give
George
Brown
Washington.
every
Damn.
chance I get. Like, what the fuck? This is y'all starting to sound ignorant in the motherfucker, bro. I just gotta just come out and say this shit.
No, but
I'm in a
I
space
didn't want to say it,
where
I
I
don't want to say
share
it.
with
But you
y'all
sound
to
like a
hear
coon.
y'all's opinion.
You
To
sound like
hear
a
your
coon.
opinion, and then you're gonna infer that I don't want to hear your opinion. What the
No,
fuck you
no,
think
you
I'm
sound
coming here for?
yeah, but you sound like a coon. You sound anti-black. Trust me.
Man, you
You
sound
sound
fucking
anti-black.
retarded. I
You
think
sound
you sound
anti-black.
retarded and very
I know,
close-minded.
I do. Yeah, but you sound anti-black.
You saying sound
People don't want
ignorant
to
as a
say,
motherfucker.
oh, but you
I
sound
swear to God,
anti-black.
I do. How
Yeah,
is it
but you sound
anti-black?
anti-black.
How is being prudent anti-black? See, that shit
What's
dumb.
prudent?
Stupies, you know you're gonna have to tell that to majority of Gen Zers too, because that's how they think as well. So it may be a generational thing of them not feeling that same again wearing it on their sleeve because you probably lived in it. So your perspective again, I'm not knocking your perspective, but it's like there are, as generations go forward, we become more, not disconnected, but we see the country and where we at now in a different way a little bit. So that I think that's all logic is trying to give you a different perspective of a Black American that looks at solutions and all of that a little differently. You know what I mean?
We need to talk about metallurgy in fucking 1200s and shit.
Because he's saying like people like MLK, especially politically, that's the fight we got to fight. So using that
nah,
as an example.
logic.
Oh, Lord.
Remember, I just pose it as, are we getting rid of that? Like, if you say, because I don't think you're beholden to sticking to Carter G. Woodson's framework. Like, I don't think cultures and societies, work that way where
Then
once something is set, like it's set in perpetuity. So that's all I'm asking is,
that shit sound incoherent and ignorant as fuck. I don't even know what to say.
What did I say that sounded incoherent?
I'm talking about what Stu P's talking about.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you sound
I mean,
anti-black?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, all right.
I
Forget about
use the
president.
word improve and you hear the word destroy.
No, you
Word,
sound.
yeah.
I don't know
Are
what
you
the hell
are
you're
you saying
talking
he's
about.
anti-Pan-African or
No.
anti-Afrocentric?
I don't
I
know
am
what the
saying.
hell
No,
he's
I
talking
am
about.
saying that. And this is what I'm saying.
You can't call
I'm
him
saying that.
anti-black if he said he's using he wants to use Black History Month as a way to use it tangibly, and you know what I mean. You can't say he's anti-black after saying that.
Okay, all right. He's saying that. And this is not the first conversation. Well, I understand that he's not Pan-African. There's no problem with it. He can be. It's exclusively American. I understand it. But even when it comes to Americanism, when he's describing a situation, he does not calculate what influence race has in the outcomes in the United States. He's of the belief that we passed that race is no
Who the
longer the
fuck
issue that
said
it
that?
is. All right, continue talking. Let me stop talking.
hey, do we get rid of?
And I'm
all right,
interrupting you because you lied
do we get rid of
shit that I didn't
teaching
say, so you
about
can say I said something I ain't say. Yeah, and you keep doing it.
yeah, how much utility does teaching about slavery have within the context of what you and Fetty have been speaking about in terms of going forward for your typical Gen Zer and up? Do we
Genealogy.
still?
Genealogy.
No, I'm talking about like teaching the history and going into the, like the fine details about, how brutal it was, and
No, more so
babies.
finding their
Yeah.
family origins. You know, like the shows where like they gave like say Nas and all of that. They talked about their ancestors, where they was from. Your great 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 of the family. So I think learning about slavery without like I think learning about all the aspects of slavery is important because like it'll kind of take you out of I hate to say it, the blackology mindset, because if you see like the indentured, if you saw like how slavery was original, like how it was originally before like the Royal African Company and after Baker's Rebellion, it does give you a different perspective. So I think young people need to learn about all history in its totality, the good, bad, and the ugly.
What say you, Fetty? Is that a necessary component of Black history, slavery, and still like teaching about
Everything,
transatlantic slavery and
everything. Yep, everything.
I meant to say logic. My bad. What say you, logic?
My point. My stopping point is 1619.
I'm really trying to chill for a second because I'm trying not to get in my head that I'm actually talking to somebody who just think they fucking smart or some shit like that. That's gonna really turn me off to the whole fucking shit, to be honest with you. Like I really didn't appreciate what the fuck he was attempting to try to do there, and I don't even understand it.
Then move past it.
I
Move
just
past
don't
it since
I
you
just
don't
don't get
understand
it.
it. Move past it. Since you don't understand it, move past to answer that question.
I mean, I'm
Move past
trying to
answer.
I'm trying to talk to fucking
Yeah,
Haskell, bro.
move past and answer Haskell's question. Haskell, repeat the question, please.
Y'all do know we live, right?
Yeah, Haskell,
And
move past.
y'all
Damn,
having a
I didn't
good,
even know we was
yeah,
live.
y'all having a good conversation. It sounds good.
Yeah.
So hopefully, Logic, you and Stu
How can it
I'm a
sound
good little
good?
chef. I'm a good moderator.
How can it sound
Yeah.
good if every time I sit up here and say something, he twisted into something I didn't say just so he can make me sound like I'm being anti-black. I don't understand how
Because
that's
you now with the old framework. That's why
I don't understand how that
you should know why, Logic. Come on, man. You're not abiding by his
I'm trying.
framework of race,
The only
racial
thing that I can
solidarity.
come up with is that this is stupid. Like that's the only thing I can come up with.
No, I don't think it's
Why.
stupid. He's just if you don't think the same framework of race and the overall doing it
and
wrong by black
that's the
people,
only
then
thing that can that's the
you're
only thing that I
you know what I mean?
need to be qualified as anti-black. That is stupid to me,
All right. Okay.
and
All
and,
right.
and
I
ignorant as a
apologize.
motherfucker.
Answer Askel question. Askel, can you ask the question again, please?
Yeah, I don't
Askel,
know
you
if you
still there?
still wanna have a
No.
conversation, Logic, or you still
Well, let me try to have a
a little
conversation
high.
with Logic real quick. Because I think me and Logic, we don't have no issues. I don't know what just happened. I was listening. Something stupid said kind of rubbed them the wrong way.
No,
So
you called him the
uh,
C word. So
yeah, it's crazy. So Logic. So now we're talking about Black History Month, right? From the perspective of Carter G. Woodson, what was his initial aim? The things that he was going through. So, from what I hear before we went live, it's kind of you're of the opinion that you can acknowledge what Carter G. Woodson and them was going through in the early 20th century, but you kind of say those things are not as big of an issue now. So you're trying to understand what role would going that far back in history play in our current psychology. Is that kind of where you're at?
I'm definitely a lot closer there, right? So what I'm attempting to say is if he was bringing up history in regards to filling in a void that he saw, right? As far as like the gaining of confidence in our
Uh-huh.
community, as far as attempting to reclaim our humanity
Yes, sir.
from the past, because of narratives that was put out there. I don't feel
And
a close.
omissions. And
Yeah, I don't.
omissions.
That's
He
the
felt
term. What it
like
is.
our respectability was omitted. So let me say this, and I'm with you, right? But it wasn't just about us also. He actually felt as though the correct telling of history, right? And framing black people respectfully in history will actually make white people in the world, look at us as better human beings, right? He felt as though a lot of the racism was because of not only black people didn't know too much about themselves, but he said white people don't even know, what I mean, about black people in history. So that's one of the reasons why they don't respect us also. He didn't feel as though black history was something that was unique just for the sake of black people. He felt as though black history was supposed to be something that would have benefited the world. You know what I mean? Not just black people. So, what do you think about that part of his philosophy?
I mean, I think that that's a strong point, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
guess I'm just trying to. I guess I'm trying to more so express like how connected I feel to that, right? I had to run into y'all to even understand that part of the conversation. Like how
That's a good point. That's a good
somebody
point.
would have had to tell me that happened in the past in order for me to even have some sentiments towards it. Like I was never. I didn't know that there was
so
some
so prior to
ongoing
this,
conversation or like yeah. I
so so
couldn't. I
so
would have never related to it in that way.
so prior
He not from
prior
that
to coming
generation, man. Why
so
y'all?
wait a minute. So prior to coming to let me just make sure I don't want to miss characterize you. What I'm gathering is you're saying prior to coming to this Discord, you weren't aware of this wholesale marginalization um, that essentially the world does, or a great amount of the world does, towards people who are classified as black. That was a foreign thing to you prior to this Discord?
No. But what you're saying is, was I aware of white supremacy and racism in America before I came to Discord? Yes, I
No, no,
was.
no. I said the world. I said the
However,
world.
no.
I said
Listen
the
to what I'm
world.
saying. So, however, its connection to our achievements in antiquity, I had no idea that was a part of it. No idea.
You had no idea that the achievements of Black Americans was a. Say that again.
I think he's talking about Africa and antiquity, like the Negro in Africa
Well, yeah,
and
it
Racism
abroad.
sounds
today
like
in America.
logic. I think what you're trying to say is you weren't aware that white people's outlook on black people globally had anything to do with our achievements in world history.
Not even necessarily
Or
globally.
Black History
I'm
Month.
saying in antiquity. I could have
Yeah,
said what I was trying to say.
antiquity would be world history, right?
No, apparently nobody
Because Black
understands
history
what's
isn't
being.
just in America. You're I'm assuming you're saying you didn't know the lack of development and creation and
Listen. Don't try to assume what I'm saying. Hear what I'm saying. I had no idea
What you're saying is
in
unintelligible, though. It's
antiquity
not
had
not
anything to
coherent.
do with. Well, I mean,
Hold on, say that again, Logic. You said you had
because they
no
could make an
idea what.
argument that I had no idea that because they could make a good argument that we didn't build the pyramids of great civilization that had something to do
That's not what you're saying.
or
He cut out. He cut out. No, but we
Yeah,
getting
you cut
somewhere.
out. You cut out.
We getting somewhere
I
though.
didn't know that was related like that.
You cut out.
So-
You cut out. Say what you said again, Logic. Yeah,
Oh,
cut
let
out.
me get on a better connection.
Because I think where he was going is he had no idea that the pyramids and metallurgy and all this shit in the ancient past
That's
had
what I keep
anything to
saying.
had
Don't assume what
anything.
I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Has
No,
something
no,
to
no.
do
I'm
with Black
saying
History Month? Is that what you said?
no. He's saying that because the point that we're on right now, Fetty, is this idea of this global kind of the way how globally people view Black people as being kind of less intelligent, whatever. He's saying he never knew there was a nexus between that general sentiment globally amongst non-Black people and the lack of Black luminaries in ancient history.
Okay. Well,
Is that about right, or
As
did
a
I?
as a
that's
I think he's saying as a
that's about what I'm
diasporic.
saying.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah,
as a
I didn't know that
diasporic.
had some
Go ahead.
relationship.
so you've
So
never heard white
I feel
supremacists. You've never
that's
heard
why I
white.
feel disconnected from having to reach back in time to find my humanity. That's exactly. I'm trying to bring it all the way home. I've been saying
Oh yeah, well
the
we
same
gotta
thing the
fix
whole
that,
time.
Logic. We gotta fix that. You got a stumbling block somewhere, right? So
Can you hear me?
now I don't think that affects you personally, right? Because you seem to do well for yourself on an individual basis. But I think as not acknowledging that for your people, right? And in the scholastic world, as far as education, you don't think that could play a role in the dignity and the self-esteem of Black people? And then you can go ahead, Reggie.
The way our
after you
white
answer.
people, the way how the world looks at Black people. I think that's that's the part where I want to stay at right there. He's saying he was completely unaware of that. He never drew the connection between how white folks treat us and demean us, and look down on us with the lack of endearing figures in ancient history. So he's
Right.
never heard white folks
How
say
you don't put a historical context to these things. Like everything that you see around, and that's where me and Logic always go astray at. Because I'll be like, yo, everything that you see around you has an historical context to it, right? Like it from architecture to even to the way you think or how groups interact with each other, right? How they act in the social space. All of it has a historical context to it. So it's like, yeah, I always have a hard time with Logic with that piece right there.
And
With him
the
not connecting
self-esteem,
it.
the self-esteem of white people in large part is part of their perspective of themselves on what it is they believe they accomplished in
Accomplished
antiquity.
as a people.
So,
Yes.
so like even if you don't think it had it, like you had to have seen how white people hold themselves to a certain standard based off of what they've achieved in classical and historical periods of time. Like you've had to been aware of that.
I mean, when you say had to be in my world, it's ignorance and arrogance.
Yeah, Sheffrin, remind me.
I don't respond to everything that I see that's ignorant and arrogant.
Sheffrin,
I think all of that shit don't be requiring a response all the time.
Can I ask?
Go ahead, Reggie. Hold on. What was you saying, Stu Peas? Before you went on me, and then you go to
I owe you a private cuss out, and you know why. You just prove why I owe you a private cuss out, but we're gonna have that cuss out in private after
okay,
cuss out.
okay,
Yeah, you know why. You know why too. You know why. You
all
just
right.
put me out. Let me stop.
Go ahead, Reggie.
Okay. So, on the topic about Carter G. Woodson, Carter G. Woodson himself hoped that one day a special month would be unnecessary because Black history would be treated as central to American history and not an add-on. So he hoped himself that we don't need a Black History Month because America would finally include us in their history. That has not
Yep.
happened. So,
Yep.
given the current fights over curriculum, book bans, revisions of racial history, we're not at that point. So, we must continue to that point. There's a second major part to this, which is interesting, is that white Americans in academia are, in fact, studying Black history. Some do it ancient Black history and connecting it to modern Black history. The problem is that because of jobs and because of academic hegemony, we often are not included in those discussions, right? At all. So, so there are new finds in Africa that relate. We hardly are not, but we do have specialized groups. For example, when they did the African burial grounds, they brought in teams of Black scholars and white scholars to study the artifacts of the graves, right? And that told us a lot about who these people were uh, and approximately when they was buried in African burial ground. But largely, Howard University had to be brought in. Well, when white people study our history, um, they put themselves first. They control the language. We had a conversation on Afro Asian linguistics, the term itself, and I said it's problematic. We have people here say it's not problematic. On one side of the word is Asian, which is not even a it doesn't even deal with where the languages, the Semitic language came from, right? But that's Asian. And on the other side, the whole continent of Africa and all of its systems is relegated to Afro. So we have to, so then there are scholars that do engage. Now, when logic, just curious about logic, white people are in fact connecting African culture, African history, African anthropology to the African American to better understand. That's the whole point of genomics, right? They're going into Africa and they are getting samples. It's not complete, but they're involved. So when Logic, his personal path, that's his personal path, and I can respect it. He's no different than a lot of Black Americans, or I don't know if, or how you classify yourself, Black American, African American, just American. I don't know.
FBA. FBA.
Okay, so uh, so thank you so much for that. So that's just his path. But for people who touch academia, like me, not in academia, but I touch it frequently. I go to conferences, and I'm going to a big conference in 2 weeks, very big conference. But I'm gonna go online because I can't afford to go. But the fact of the matter is going to be dealing with Nubia, right? It's going to be dealing with the conversations that we talk about, and I'm gonna hear from the experts. So logic, my issue is, well, you personally, that's your path. I respect it, but someone like Carter G. Woodson said that he hoped that it wouldn't have to be a month. It could be just, it can go away because America embraces it. But in the Trump uh, administration, we have them taking down whole exhibitions in Washington, D.C., in the capital of the United States. So it's the need is more, not less. And I think I try to articulate it the best way that I can. You can't put your personal experience in, because then you're new to this. So if you're new to this, you have a right to state, but then you're new, you admit that you didn't know these things, or these things weren't really relevant to you, or you didn't know why. So then you kind of lose your voice in this conversation, right? You kind of lose your voice, right? And that becomes a problem. So now it's the people who are articulating why, and I just articulated we need more, not less, because the world has changed, and it's changed very negatively with Black people losing their jobs. Curriculums are not being accepted. So when
Good point.
curriculums are not being accepted, then that's a major fight. Then we're not in American history, right? But George Washington had wooden teeps, but we and then slave teeps, and then and so we find these things out, but they're not in American history. George Washington was a slave holder, more, and he specialized in slavery of Black children, right? And in the age of Trump, where he is a pedophile, mentioned more than 1 million times with Jeffrey Epstein, right? So there has to be change. And if we don't change, then what we have is ignorance. For your time, I'll listen.
I feel like y'all trying to get me to say some ignorant shit today, man. I swear to God. But I mean, regardless of what you're saying, I'm sure as y'all get up and clock in and go to work about your regular day, I'm sure there's a lot to kind of carry on your heart as you go in and support white supremacy every day. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But to me, I didn't need to have the same experience or read the same books to feel as though my humanity was intact. The irony of it is like I come here and hear y'all express how y'all humanity ain't intact because of some shit that happened 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago. It's like y'all trying to prove to me that something's actually fucked up. And I'm like, man, it ain't that goddamn bad. So I don't know how to fucking respond to a lot of this. I'm getting some
Might
crazy
be old head
emotional
party. Might be
arguments.
old head party.
I'm getting
Don't
some crazy
respond.
emotional arguments, right? And the whole time it's like you're trying to convince me that there's a
No,
fight
we
out
don't care
there
about you.
that ain't none of y'all actually in.
We don't care
You get
about
on the
think
internet.
about it.
Hold
We
up,
don't
I'll
care
let you
about
talk. I'll let
individuals.
you tell me I don't got no voice
No,
and
I was speaking in
beg for a
general.
peanut butter
I
and
didn't,
jelly sandwich.
I
I'll let
didn't,
you say every
no,
goddamn thing you wanted to
no,
say.
you didn't
Now I
let me
can't
do
say nothing.
anything. It was my time, but this board is about our
Because the
whole
time that we
community,
allowed you to have,
not
you mean.
about individuals.
That was what your time was. Don't forget about that shit. You see what I'm saying? Y'all making me
My time
want to
was
say
what?
some ignorant ass shit in this
Wait. My
motherfucker.
time was what?
Let me. I gotta chill. I'm gonna let y'all talk this out.
Yeah, that's the
I
whole
don't think
thing.
I could do it right now.
Right. The whole point is we're talking about Black History Month that deals with all of our people, right? We're not talking about necessarily. We're not talking about necessarily.
Chef, where you at, man?
I'm right
What is
here.
that? I don't see. That's the problem.
Well,
So
I'd like to say though, Logic, and I'm just coming in and I kind of heard the end of kind of what Reggie said, and I may be seeing it the wrong way or whatever, but I'm saying, I think you have to kind of be. I think what they're saying, and I don't know, maybe this is how I see it. I'll say that. I think we have to kind of be proactive and understand that there's a maintenance and as far as black men and women in America. You know what I'm saying? So I don't believe like individually we could say, I mean, individually we could all say, well, I mean, shit good. I mean, we got some good hamburger in the freezer and some goddamn chicken. And we got a car in the parking in the garage and this and that. But what I'm saying is, that's all got to be maintenance. So to have an awareness, right, and a proactiveness, is I think is very necessary. Now I don't know how you feel about that, but I just wanted to kind of put that on the table. That might even be out of bounds. I might be
No,
taking it somewhere where it shouldn't be.
I think that you running it straight up the middle as you always do. You're absolutely right that those things do need to be maintenance. And then so when I say I struggle to see the connection between West African metallurgy and who built the pyramids and what color they is, I fail to see the connection between that maintenance and exactly
Right.
what the problems are, right? And that's what I'm trying to express.
I agree with that.
In some kind of way, in some kind of way, I'm getting disqualified from the conversation because I can't see the connection, and not to mention I can't see it, and they fail to make me see it. Then all of that's my fault.
Well, and so I don't. What I would say, Logic, and this is it, there's a looking back that probably should be done, right? If you want to do things in an orderly fashion, right? If you want to cross all your T's and dot all your I's, there's a certain looking back that we have to do, right? But the dwelling in your looking back, right? I don't think that is necessary. Is that more of where you going with it there, Logic? You know what I'm saying? Are you following me there?
That didn't come up in that particular conversation. That'd be a different conversation.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of
in West Africa.
It's a diasporic racial unification lens versus strictly ethnic American problems lens.
Well, I'm from China. Okay, I don't mean to cut you off. That was an accident. Go ahead, bro.
Oh no, you good. You good. I was just saying, like, it sounds like other people are saying you need to incorporate the whole Negro story and our history being wiped out and the pyramids and all of that using a Afrocentric or Pan-African mindset. I think Logic is saying using Black History Month in a tangible way to fix Black American problems now and going forward. And
that's a little bit of a stretch of what people were. That's a little bit
about the Rainbow Coalition, Stupies. If you remember, kind of where we kind of started at when we got in here, we talked about the Rainbow Coalition, where there needs to be, the fight has changed, right? So I think I'm gathering the conversation as y'all talk. So I kind of agree with Logic again, right?
Yeah, but nobody was talking about the pyramids of Egypt and all this.
They were though. They was talking about like how the Negro and Black history starting in Africa was being wiped out.
But specifically, it was in the context of what Carter G. Woodson's intention in teaching about Black Negro. Carter G. Are you saying Carter G. Woodson was talking about the pyramids?
No.
Yes, he was.
Even that, but the whole racial solidarity of the Negro, not only the American Negro being undermined, but the Negro at large throughout the entire world.
So you guys are suggesting Carter G. Wood. So when Chef is bringing up the fact that Carter G. I just want to be clear, because he was talking to Chef initially. When Chef is bringing up the fact that Carter G. Woodson's original intent was to improve the perception of Black people globally based off of our history, you're saying that Carter G. Woodson was considering the pyramid builders to be a part of this Negro history.
Nah, I think you can. Yes. I mean, we have more context in talking about that. But if you want to generalize it like that, cool.
No, I'm saying that's how Logic and Chef's conversation started.
That's how Black people in America
and it got to a good point.
Gravitated to Egypt in the first place, though.
It got to a good point.
I'm saying this conversation we're having right here in context, it was a reference to what Carter G. Woodson's intention was in improving the perspective of Black people in his time based off of what he saw Negroes doing in history. Yes. And I'm saying you would have to argue that he was in part doing so by connecting Negroes in America to the people of Egypt building the pyramids.
He got papers and shit. They got little articles and newsletter, all that they was doing, connecting all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so that's news to me that Carter G. Woodson was calling
That was just that was the
pyramid.
social, again, that was the social landscape at large, bro. The whole Negro scientific racism. So it's not surprising that he would even go that route. That's all I was saying. Because that's just
Okay,
what it was at that time.
So if that's the argument, then what logic is saying now has validity to it. I was looking at it more. Yeah. Because we don't have anything to gain from that because we don't have a tie to that history. We know this in 2026. We don't have a tie to that.
I don't think that's what Carter G. Woodson was doing. So let's not make him into Dr. Ben. That's not
exactly.
what he was doing.
He's not Dr. Ben. Like,
I don't think that. No.
Yeah.
It was so again, we have to kind of look at things in that day and the time it was, you know, and I think like I don't blame somebody for kind of coming with that whole like the Egypt and combining the whole Black Africa, because we coming out of that time, right? But I think as we grow, you know what I'm saying, I think we should, you know, be more to where we at now. And, you know, it's important, again, to look back. It's important, again, to look back at Africa. Even when we're talking about West Africa, not just the wild Egypt shit, right?
He focused on that, though. But see, that's the point. Like, we gotta walk this thing up correctly.
Yeah, he was using Africa as the anchor.
Yeah, he was using Africa and the Negro past as his anchor. So he started with the oldest African civilizations, right? Whether they were black or indifference, right? That for him and those people in that day, if you consider the Negro, right, then you would consider Africa, right? So even if you can argue that Egypt ain't had nothing to do with the Negro, he anchored the majority of his argument about Africa in West Africa. He just used Egypt, Nubia, and Ethiopia for the most ancient, right? But for us, he went to Mali, Songhai, and what's the other one? Oh, shit. The three, Reggie. Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, right? Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. So he anchored it there in the medieval period, right? So if you go get the Negro, what was it? He used to write the Journal of Negro History, right? He was writing this periodical, right, in this journal before he started Negro History Week in 1926. Now, all of the information, the study guides and things that he used to inform the educators in the local school systems, right? The material that he pulled from was his journal. And in his journal, he started Negro history back in Africa. And he moved all the way up to the medieval period, right? Talking about Ghana, Songhai, and Mali. Then he moved into the Americas. I know Fetty, like he talks about the 1619. Carter G. Woodson got a treaty on that. You dig what I'm saying? And he walks it up to Reconstruction, right? All the way up to the new Negro, right? I think that he culminated it with the Harlem Renaissance and the new Negro. So and then not only that, he connected it to Brazil, the Caribbean, and the Black people struggles in the West. He actually used one of the main things that he used in the New World was the Haitian Revolution. So he was tying Black history together, right? In a masterful way to show that the Negro had a past going back to the ancient time, and he walked it all the way up to the present. Not only using just African Americans, but Africans in ancient time in Africa and the Caribbeans. He used it all. So that's
he was a slick nigga.
But look, Chef, what's important before he did all of that, that's why I take into account the American aspect too, is because he was battling white scholars in America in the American Historical Association. He got barred, and he was a paying member and all of that.
Yes, sir.
So he kind of like he used Africa as his anchor, but he was fighting an American fight. And then I guess
As an
it's
American.
like the analogy was like,
Absolutely.
because again, you know, black people were celebrating again Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln birthday already. So that American framework was there. But I think the experience he had with those white scholars and how they treated and tried to blackball us from American history, he kind of looked at the world and said, "Oh, this is happening everywhere. So I can use an overall talking
Yes,
point
sir. Good
to
point.
support
Mhm.
my initial reason why I got into this in the first place."
Yep.
Because in white folks, because
I like how
in the
you put that.
NAA,
The way you put that, he was fighting. You know, he was using Africa as an anchor, but he was fighting an American fight. I like how you put that.
Mhm.
That was pretty profound for you to like kind of put that together, especially a young man like that. I appreciate that, brother. Just want to give
yeah, that's how
everybody,
because
you know,
that's how the NAACP worded, and I
mm-hmm.
the what's the organization chef the
The
ALASC or some shit like that
ASHLA,
that he created.
the
Yeah, so
ASHLA,
yeah, so
LH, right.
yeah, so
The
that's how
Association for
they kind
Negro
of
History.
yeah, that's and the national president chef is a little blacked out. I'll give you that, but you see how she frameworks it. Like, don't forget that Carter G. Woodson was fighting for the American to be represented in history first. You know what I'm saying? She's not undermining the whole racial solidarity of the Negro, but I think his mentality was rep your team, but still hold hands with your other
No
teammates from the
doubt,
other
and I
diaspora
believe that too.
at the
I
same
believe
time.
that too.
You can
Yeah.
do two at the
But
same time.
you can do two at the same time, and you know, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about 50-50, but if we can do 40-60, you
Yeah,
know what I'm
40-60. I'm
saying?
with that. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
he definitely focused in on America. But the point
Right.
is, he didn't start Black history off with slavery. That was the point. He was basically saying, right, that the Negro has a past, right? He was saying, I'm not starting it off there, and how we know that he also used Schomburg, right?
Mhm.
And the fact that he used Schomburg, not only did he use Schomburg, he used J.A. Rogers in them. And these people gave him a more holistic, you know what I mean? Now we know he was dealing with the educational system in America. Like, we ain't even going, you know what I mean? We know he was dealing with our people in general and the treaty of us in history, right? In the American context. But he had to make the point, now hear me here. He had to make the point, y'all, that the Negro was relevant in history before he met the white man. He
Yeah, that's
had
true.
to
Yeah, that's
make that
important.
point.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah.
He had to make
Yeah.
that. You
Yeah, yeah.
can't say that the Negro was only important when he came in contact with white people. That
Yeah,
would make
yeah.
us
You gotta use an
subservient.
example of that's a fact.
Exactly.
Well,
That's a fact.
I'm a Schomburg Center for Research and Black Culture of the New York Public Library baby.
Yes, sir.
You can find my history there. So I think what Chef is saying is absolutely correct. At that time period, believe it or not, there was writings, right? There was written material. A lot of it wasn't being circulated. Uh, the Garvey movement later made more kind of publishing possible, right? Than this particular period. But what he was in fact doing is one of the
Didn't Carter G.
pioneers.
Woodson start his own publishing company for that purpose too?
I think so, but
Okay, go ahead. My bad.
but still the machinery was not in his it might have been slow. I think Garvey put more money into publishing.
Garvey was a printer by trade, though, wasn't he?
No, I don't think by trade. I think
You
now.
sure?
Yes, Marcus Garvey. Marcus
He
Garvey
was
was
a
a
printer
printer.
by trade. Yeah,
He apprenticed as a printer in St. Anne, Jamaica, before coming to America. So he was
Okay,
a printer
so
by trade, and so he any opportunity that he gets, he always set up a printing press or
yeah, he
encourage black people
mastered.
to have printing.
He mastered that. But now with the Schomburg Center, yes, in the a lot of the material that Schomburg gifted was artifacts, right? And then we began, and then to they bought his collection, and then the New York Public Library, which had it was a partnership with New York Public Library, and they imported many of their books into the Schomburg Center, right? And then Schomburg Center became into a collection phase. But the thing about it is Carter G. Woodson, his thing was, yeah, he was an American, right? But the Negro had a past, just like Schomburg Center wrote. I mean, Arturo Schomburg wrote. The
The
Negro had
Negro
a
digs up his past.
right. Yeah, thank. Uh, yeah, Chef, you amaze me. You might not read modern stuff, but your parents, it gave you a good foundation. Who you are today, you're fighting between devils and angels, right? Gods and demons, right? But the fact of the matter is, you're yeah, absolutely correct. So Carter G. Woodson, he basically said we would hope one day a month would not be needed, right? That it would be incorporated in American history. It's not. That was my point earlier. It's not. But the Negro, if you call it, and I am a Negro. I was born a Negro, right? My birth, my daddy and mommy were Negroes, and I was a Negro, right? I don't know about you people, but I was born 65 a Negro, right? Not a foundational Black American, not none of that, right? I was a Negro.
I'm
I don't
glad we
know.
got somebody that rep being a Negro.
Yeah,
That's awesome. We got a Negro on the panel,
I'm a
y'all.
Virginia Negro. Absolutely. But watch this. I'm a Virginia Negro, right? Right? So I know the differences in the name changes. People like Tariq Nasheed, I don't know his age and I don't know really what his lineage is. No, he's
Carter
never
G. Woodson called us Negroes. Go ahead. You on point.
right. That's correct. So now, so the fact of the matter is we have a past. And that's the point that Sheffrin was saying that we have a past, but the mission has not been completed. So now we have Europeans in academia, well, European descendants in academia, right? And we do have more, way more academics, Black academics, right? That was the whole Black Studies movement, right? However, the mission is not complete. So I don't want to take too much of your time, but I hate when people come up and start talking about their personal views, and we are trying to do our people's. Like our peoples have a history. Now, like for example, if when Corey becomes a professor, right? When he becomes a professor in a university teaching his industrial skill, which he probably could be a professor. Probably he would have to, after he talks to his chairman and dean, they would say, "Well, Corey, can you add some more? Do you know of the uh, where this stuff began? Who did Palomar, right? Who mixed what things that they mix? Why are we better, right? Why is this much more substantial? Talk about Adobe and talk about other types of uh, building materials. Then Corey would say, okay, now I gotta, damn it, I gotta go into Africa. Corey would be like, damn, 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 now I gotta go into Africa. And he may even give me a call, right? Corey may even give me a call. Reggie, look, man, I hate to bother you, but do you have some resources on ancient Egyptian building material or other West African building material, right? Or even have to call Camdyverse, who's a structural engineer by trade, by degree, right? And why? Because the universities would want students to know more about the ancient world and then go into China and go into other places, go Becky Tepe and all these other places. So that's when, so it's just education. Carter G. Woodson's mission is not complete. Uh, Now we don't need Black History Month because people are saying that we are abos, so we need aboriginal history, right? Or we FBAs, we don't have, right? So the problem is it's gotten so We are losing because we're not organized. We don't know how to put
Our
these things.
Negropean. Our
Yeah.
Negropean. So we need
No,
European history.
I think we need to not do what we do in the conscious community. And I think we're doing a good job with this conversation, right? But what I don't want to happen is I don't want to pit Carter G. Woodson in a box like we do everybody that we talk about, right? We get to arguing and then we think that they supposed to fit neatly in a box that we want them to fit in so we could either defend or attack them on from those positions, right? So with Carter G. Woodson, we can acknowledge that he was an American and he felt that his fight was for the education of Black Americans, the Negro in America, right?
And
We
all
know
Americans.
yeah,
All
yeah,
Americans.
all Americans, right? No, well, hold on, let me do this, right? So what? So we got that part, right? But then we can't act like because he had that part of his fight that he wasn't saying that the Negro in totality was under attack, and the Negro in his treatment in history was under attack, and by him he was fighting all of those fights, right? Now African Americans, us, we can look at it specifically and say, well, this is how he addressed us, right? We can do that, right? But we can't say that what he did and what he fought for wasn't beneficial to all people who he considered Negro or of African descent, right? He felt as though all of us was under attack by mainstream history, and that our respectability in history was degraded by white people. And so, I mean, we can look at it in a broader sense than just try to put him in a box. You know what I mean? The fact that he would talk about
my apologies to
Nubia.
British Shepherd. Who is us? When you say us, when you say us, according to Carter G, who was he calling us?
No, I'm saying
American.
he was
Largely
talking about
Black
us,
Americans.
Black Americans, but us in general, right? I think he was talking about the Negro at large, right?
Beautiful.
He have to had that concept, right? Think about it. If he's just calling the African American in the United States a Negro, then why even go to the Caribbean and Haiti and use them as a reference? Why talk about Ghana, Songhai, and Mali? Why even talk about Ethiopia and Egypt if he didn't consider them in the scope of the greater Negro, right? And if the African American just stands alone in the world, right? Then why use other Black people as Negroes for inspiration or to prove the validity of the Negro, the U.S. Negroes' humanity? Why go to Africa to prove that?
Yeah, can you hear me?
We have a history.
Yeah.
He answered that
Okay.
because we have a history.
That's right. Go ahead, Thunder. My bad.
No, I just said, can you hear me? I'm testing out my mic. That's all.
Oh yeah,
ahead,
your
Richard, my
mic
bad.
is good. Your mic is good. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
I don't think he was.
if he was successful in changing the American white man and just America in general's perspective and psychology on the view of Black people within this country, enough to where they can alter the way America tells history to the point where American history incorporates these things he's calling Negro history, then that will have an effect on the rest of the world, because the way America would then write laws, move around morally, whether it's nationally or internationally, they will start to treat Black people better if his goal was accomplished globally, not even just within this country. So that's the first step. The first step is changing the psychology of the nation he resided in, where there's Black people in this nation. And then at that point, once their perspective changes, they can start having international relations in a different light.
You're absolutely right. But the problem is there's something that the world, the Western world can't do. The Western world can't fix what they did, meaning the largest uh, time period of enslavement of a group of people. And so we'll be treated better or in sometimes worse. The more gain we ground, the more resistance we get, right? Uh, um, and the problem is white guilt, right? And then the issue of how should white people fix what their ancestors did. So it's a danger to the system for us to begin to tell the, the history, especially the very very detrimental, harmful, non-humanity history. White America, white Western Europe, they want to be the ones. They're acting like they're gods. They have a destiny. There's a the white man's burden that has not changed, and that, but it can't be equal. It can never be equal because the resources, a lot of the resources that the world needs is in a particular continent. Not only that continent, but that continent. And they know that with population increases, the need for energy, right? They need that continent. That's the last. They need that continent, or they need the oceans,
So,
right?
but Reggie, you said that you said Europeans enslaved black people. You said that was the longest enslavement. How did you word that?
Yeah, it's the well, I think I worded it just like you said. It's the longest enslavement period, uh,
Mm.
considering the West and in Africa. There, the other group, of course, is Arab. The Arab is well, I could just say Islam because they weren't all Arabs that did it. It was people that became Muslim,
Yeah,
right?
They were Arab adjacent. They became the branches of Arabia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they became Muslim. So I could argue that Europeans was enslaved um longer under Islam than we was enslaved by the Western powers in the Western Hemisphere.
How
I
could you
think I
argue
could,
that?
huh?
That's interesting because the the the
I
the
think
problem is,
Europeans was enslaved going into the 800s all the way up into, I'll say, the 1800s by by fucking by
yeah,
the Muslim world.
that you would
Yeah,
say
but
maybe
at that
other.
same time period, Chef, you had a lot of Horners and East Africans, Northeast Africans that were enslaved by those same Arab conquests. So it would be around the same time period you had sub-Saharan East Africans getting enslaved by those
Yeah,
same Arabs in 800 AD.
Yeah, them Arabs was the Muslim world was on some shit for a long time, and I
uh,
think they get a
Pretty
pass.
pretty much all the way up into the fall of the
Yeah,
Ottoman
yeah,
Empire. All
yeah.
the
yes,
way up into the fall of the Ottomans.
you're absolutely right. But
They fucked over everybody.
what they
They ain't
call
had
the
no rhyme or
modern
reason.
shit. Ethiopia was still enslaving people, but shit, we don't even talk about Ethiopia as an enslavement. But Haile Selassie began to put it into that shit, right? But what the problem is that we're talking about the modern world, right? So the modern world, that the modern world begins roughly in the uh, I could say the 1600s.
Yeah, but the Arab world had a stranglehold all the way up
Yeah,
until the fall of the
No, I
Ottomans.
agree.
Like
eight
I'm saying,
I
to
agree.
until
1800.
No,
until the
I agree.
Ottomans are defeated in World War One, like
No, I
World War
agree.
One would be the fall, like the real fall.
I agree. But they're what the Western world's uh the difference is okay. I'm not gonna leave that. I'm
Hypocrisy.
not gonna leave that out. Because I think that there is an uncounted amount of people that was enslaved during that period, and that should also be studied. But
Mhm.
Carter G. Woodson's issue is right. We'll get to that. The Negro has a past. We're gonna get to all of that, but first we have to deal with letting people know that the Negro, right, has a past, and we need to put that in our minds. Is it going to affect
Yes, sir.
us day to day? Is it no, it's not going to affect us day to day, but it's just part of people should be educated and
And it could, Reggie, I hear you, but it could affect you day to day because history plays a role in law and policy making.
yes, it could in that, but okay, so okay, thanks for doing to understanding that. But
Yeah.
we with all of our capabilities and all of our knowledge, we have backtrodden because now we have governments. We have what you call local governments, city and county governments, right? And that's not in the minds. That's not in the minds. And then we have constitutional law and state law that the equal protection. I don't. People never studied the Equal Protection Act. The Equal Protection Act is actually sometimes more of a hindrance than a help, right? So law, so all the things that you're saying is correct. The mission is unfinished, but there's a need for people to uh to study all to study information, period. But but I don't want to say it's self-esteem, but the fact of the matter is, um, we have children. We're gonna have children's children, some of us, and children's children. We have whole generations. Like we gotta stop failing. We gotta be able to put the things that we need in its place instead of having it all over the place. What we have is a bazaar, like an Arab bazaar, a bunch of
A
tents and
market.
Oh
a
yeah, those markets. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's what we have. That's what our movement has become. It's not organized. It's not, there's no plan. So you can yell at me all you want and try to make fun of me about my Black City plan. Well, I'm smart enough to understand these things and write a plan. Complicated, to try to complicate it. You have people over here talking about it's a piece of shit, but the people who's talking, you can look Reggie up. You can't look up this Negro that be saying that stuff that they say about me. Google me, you Google my whole activist career. You can find it. But so I've been around enough thinkers and in enough places. Again, I'm a Schomburg Center baby. I worked there for 5 years, right? I worked there in a very important position at the Schomburg, right? I educated scholars on how to use a computer, and I use my computer capacity to create databases, and I brought in desktop publishing so that the Schomburg Center could publish its own works. So its early self-publishing is Reggie Mabry. I can show you works that I did. So now so generally is we have more capacity, we're just not focused on using any of these things to better us. So the best we can do is just get some knowledge of the past and then try to incorporate that. Get some knowledge of the past. See, nigga, I didn't say Black history. I said,
Who said what?
I said knowledge of the past, period. I said knowledge of the past.
So this is what I heard, right? So I heard that since we're so ineffective at using what is available to us, we might as well just study the past.
No, nigga.
I don't know how that makes sense, but that's what you said.
No, that's not what that's
Now, why are you using the word nigga today?
For a word.
You usually take offense to that. What's going on with you?
You're looking for a word.
I'm not. I'm trying to join the conversation with you without acting crazy. So I'm saying what you said was, you said since we're being so ineffective at taking advantages of some of the opportunities we have now, we might as well just study the past, and that don't make sense to me.
Okay, because you was looking for a word, trying to take it out of context, right? The past helps direct the future. Lots of times if you don't look at the past, right, your future plans fall apart, right? Because you're not basing it on the past, right? Sometimes you got to go back and correct things that were in the past so that you don't do it this shit over again, right? But you're looking for a word.
I'm not looking for a word. I'm looking to make sense out of what you said, Reggie.
Logic. What's your education? You got a degree in what?
Man,
Come on, we ain't gonna go down that road.
Listen,
Let me get this back on.
listen.
Get him, Reggie.
Because I like to
Talking about your education and you 70 and you live in the projects, bro. I don't want to do
Let's
this.
get this
nigga,
back
I was
on
living
track.
in the projects, nigga, and moved out of the projects.
I don't want to do that, bro. I'm trying to have a conversation about what you talking about.
I just want to understand because what I feel is you went.
I don't want to talk about that. I'm shutting it down. I don't want to talk about that. I'm trying to make sense out of what you said.
Because I need to know that you have the capabilities to make sense of what I'm saying.
What?
Yeah.
Look, Reggie,
I need to know who taught your ass, right?
Reggie,
For you to be
Reggie,
able to make
Reggie, you beg for cheeseburgers on the internet, Reggie.
You said
chill
what?
out, Reggie. Chill.
You said what?
Chill.
All right, so listen. So let me ask you all a question.
On the internet, because my time is fucking valuable.
It can't be. It can't be, because if your time was that valuable, you wouldn't have to pay for no cheeseburger. You could go make some money with your time.
My time, but fine. My
But
time.
just look, that's why I don't want to talk about this. I'm trying to address what you said.
I didn't ask for no donations today, right? But my time is still valuable. But the problem is, what do you contribute to? Give me a fucking article.
Reggie, I'm on the clock right now, Reggie, and I ain't begging for no cheeseburger.
You stealing.
Hold on. Hey, I got a question.
What also?
You stealing time.
I got a question. Hey, now yesterday I might have put my foot in my mouth. I made a statement about you, Reggie. I said that you helped get Diop's book, one of his first books, translated into English. Did I misspeak?
Yeah, I was on the team of Civilization on Barbarism.
Okay,
to get
that's
that
what
book.
I said.
That was Dr. Diop's second largest book, besides African Origin Civilization. And Dr. Clark thought that needed to be translated to English, and so he went to the Department of Black Studies at City College, worked with Dr. Jeffries. Dr. Jeffries was initially translating that book, but it was too much for him because even though he's a great French speaker, it was technical. So they got Yalingi Ngimi. And then the problem is that Yalingi Ngimi needed resources, and so he was trying to type it on a Selectric typewriter. And then they said that may not do because of the edits, because it's going to be constantly edited. So they brought me onto the project. And so I was on the team. That's all.
Awesome. There you go, right there.
I'm not credited, but Dr. Jeffries, I have statements from Dr. Jeffries, but what happened is that I was a young college student. When it went to McGraw-Hill or whoever translated it, I was left out. It's okay.
It was Lawrence Hill.
Lawrence Hill, sorry. Yeah. I was left out, but the fact of the matter is I was part of the team. It was one of the first books that was done on a computer, not on a typewriter. For black people, for black folks.
I'm glad you clarified that. I appreciate it.
So, Chef,
Hey, Reggie, I'm about to say that's a
But Chef, when I hear a statement like what Reggie made just now, right? To me, it screams that our hope for the future is so dire, right? That we might as well reroute our efforts into something else. Does that not sort of reach you in what he actually just said right there?
About
cognitive skills.
No, so what he said was, since we do such a bad job at taking advantage of some of the opportunities that we have now, we might as well just reclaim our greatness in the past. That's exactly what he said.
That's not exactly what I'm saying.
I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
You could definitely rewind it. You could definitely rewind it. He says we don't do a good enough job of taking advantage of some of the stuff that we have today. So we might as well just focus on the past. That's what he said.
We have to reorganize ourselves, rebirth, have a renaissance, right?
I definitely agree with the first part.
We have to have a renaissance.
We don't take advantage of some of the shit.
No, we don't, right? No, we don't. So
Yeah.
when I say I fail to see the connection on how focusing on antiquity helps us take advantage of some of those things, right? That's when he want to call me a nigger.
So
right?
so let me help.
Acting crazy and shit.
So I think I got it, Logic. Y'all give me 30 seconds, y'all. Bear with me. All right. So this is what it is, Logic. You like to focus on things that we can use right now, right? And in the present economy and political system to help us, move forward right now, right? Am I correct?
Right.
All right. And so check it out. So now when you're dealing with historians and people that that's history, you got to look at their contemporaries, right? He was dealing with history and education, right? That's specific, right? Now, you had people like A. Philip Randolph that we talked about earlier last week, right? So if you want to deal with it, so it was people back then who was dealing with those things that you like to deal with right now. We had those people. It wasn't that everybody, he was saying that everybody needs to focus in on this. No, he was just in his particular niche, right? What he went to school for. So everybody was using whatever they did at a high level. Everybody was putting the puzzle piece together to move us forward. Now, if you feel as though personally history ain't your thing to help move us forward, you do know that history is a thing. Do we agree to that?
I don't disagree with that.
All right, so if history is a thing, then the historian is going to use history as his contribution. You feel me? The economist is going to use economics as his thing for his contribution to our advancement, right? The doctor is going to use his understanding of medicine and his expertise as his thing for his contribution. The barber is going to use his skills in so everybody in their particular. We're just highlighting Carter G. Woodson because he was a historian and his thing was history. That's it. All of the other things exist there. If that's not your thing, right, we don't have to look at the other person thing and say that shit ain't useful. Yes, it is. Everybody part is useful. That's my point.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I think you're making a good point.
Logic.
No, I think you're making a good point, right? Right, but I mean, I'm specifically addressing that notion, right? Of we don't necessarily do the best job of taking advantage of some of the stuff that we got going on today, and then thinking about how you're saying how we can use history, right? How does that bring us into using those things a lot better? Right? Am I talking to the most effective the people who use it the most effectively out of the whole Black community because we know some history?
No. So when the economist, right? When the economist gives you a solution, he's giving you a solution to an economic and financial issue, right?
Yes, but they also use history and trends and patterns to make their.
I don't even want to go there. You're absolutely right, but I don't even want to go there, right? I'm just trying to get him to see that each person in their specific expertise uses that. So if our problem is holistic, right? Logic, meaning we were attacked on all fronts, right? So not only did we have medical issues, that's what a doctor to deal with, right? But also the medical is a part of the economic, right? We didn't have good medical care or health care because our economics was fucking poor. Now the economists got to deal with that. Now education, right? We didn't get good jobs that affected our our economics because we were poorly educated. Now the educator got to deal with that part, but each one of them is dealing with their specific area of expertise. Now, along with education, there's a discipline in education called history, right? Now, in history, there was a problem. The Negro wasn't represented in the discipline of history correctly. And that's what Carter G. Woodson felt as though in his expertise, being a trained historian, that he was going to focus in on. And he felt as though that a lot of our self-esteem was connected to our historical understanding of ourselves, right? So that was his point. Now, you don't have to fuck with it. It's not going to affect you personally. You seem to got along fine without it. But as a community, can you acknowledge that our self-esteem affects how we perform in education and how we interact with ourselves in the world? Do you think that our self-esteem has anything to do with that? Logic.
I was about to answer that, but I think that was going to be unnecessary. I ain't gonna say that, but I definitely see where it could be a benefit. I can see that. I can see that. However, in this particular community, I don't know how well that is represented, but I can see where it could be useful.
I'm saying outside of this community, don't look at these crazy niggas.
These niggas know a lot of history, don't they?
Yeah, I don't think so. Not really.
Oh, they don't. No.
Yeah, I'm not going to say
they don't tell it in a. They don't tell it in a way that is kind of practical. They don't tell the history in a practical way. I think it's a way to talk about history in a practical way. I think it's a way to talk about each of those things, the education, the economy, everything can be talked about in a practical way. And I think Logic don't see that in this community, which is fine, but that's not, Black America. You know what I'm saying? When you're looking at this community.
So it's not even how the country functions, because even when it comes to Congress, there are committees that dedicate themselves to learning about the historical precedents of laws and different things ethically, to where like something like even a reparations bill being presented to the floor, there has to be all these committees that study the historical significance of why something like that might be needed, the difficulties of how it may need to be implemented and worded. So like even when it comes to modern day effect on everyday life, when we look at how the political structure of this country is, committees studying antiquity play a role in policy making.
And that's why we're in the situation that we're in. Because we're so far stuck in the past, we're not prepared for MAGA because it never existed before. So when Logic, there was versions of it that existed, but we never had a version where, like this. There was never a time like this. It was
we gave up on the maintenance.
Different multiverses.
Even MAGA.
I don't mean. I just mean MAGA in general. I don't mean like I'm not trying to be specific. What I'm saying is because those same boards that you're talking about, never in history have presidents been backed by Democrats and Republicans and just throwing all that shit out the window. So this and then literally say like, I mean, he went to the Kennedy Center and just changed the fucking name because he felt like it. See, like that history don't prepare you for shit like that. So what you have to do when you talk, like when you have children, and it's interesting y'all having this conversation, and I really do understand where Logic's coming from, because when you talk to your children, you could tell them all the stories about your past, but you got to prepare them to live in the world that they got to live in the best you can. And that's a world that you ain't lived in. It's a world that you're trying to predict based on your past, but social media didn't exist in your past. The internet didn't exist in a lot of niggas, I think my generation, we're the internet, like we're the ones that had internet forever. So when you have a situation where you're trying to talk to your child and teach him about how to deal with social media, but they're creating the history as they're doing it. They're creating whatever the history of social media is as they're doing it. They're in an interesting time. So you can give them your parables and different things like that. But I think what Logic is saying, based on the world that we have to live in today, you can listen to that. What up, Contrarian? You can listen to Carter G. Woodson talk about Black history and celebrate Black History Month, and we'll still find ourselves in 2026 with a young Black kid telling Mujasi that the shit is a scam. It don't mean nothing. So now you got to deal with that. And you can go back and start talking about Carter G. Woodson, but he just told you it don't mean nothing. So you can, so even though it means a lot to you, even in economy, it's more analytical. So it is not really a direct reflection. Numbers and markets and things, even in the worst of times, they tend to do exactly what they did before. That's why I tell most people, when you invest and you get into something that's been the same way for 100 years, that's more like the Berkshire Hathaway model. You know, they invest in things that have been, you know, moderately successful forever, and hopefully hit the number every now and then, whatever you want to call it. So I fully understand what Logic is saying. I think a lot of times, well, I'm gonna let my plane right here, Chef. I think a lot of times what we do in this particular Discord, y'all want Logic's worldview to be yours. History means a lot to a lot of people in here. So when you hear somebody say that not necessarily in their particular life or where they grew up, they didn't go through what you went through, you got to be, not have to be, you can do whatever you want to do, but just be cognizant would be my advice if you want to take it, that everybody didn't grow up the same, and history necessarily don't mean the same to everybody. So even if you want to impress upon a person how important history is, just realize that, like, he don't got to change his worldview to somehow be like you so we can understand. As a Black person, his color, his race, and what he's done for his people, or what his people have done for people, it ain't gonna matter y'all telling them, you know, that you don't understand history, so we gotta fix you. Instead of saying words like you gotta fix somebody, you running into a dangerous lane.
Yes, but I also do feel like
because he told me the same exact thing though. Like he was like, "Yeah, I gotta fix you." But we used to remember,
like
Chef, we used to have this conversation a lot. I was where Logic was at, if you can remember, and so we used to. We had the conversation for quite a while, on and off, you know, in between the other shit. But eventually, I got there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just think you know it's you know, seeing things through different eyes. I think it'll take a little time to kind of look at it from what it really is, like the real kind of history, and you know what I'm saying, and kind of having that understanding. And I hear you too, Brass, when you say that you know they didn't have the internet. You know, the internet wasn't back then, so you know, kind of things, the strategies and things got to change. The things that you kind of put on the forefront kind of needs to change, you know what I'm saying? So that's all understandable. And but again, I still think you can still appreciate, you know, and kind of really basically to kind of make sure, looking back and kind of seeing what worked and what didn't work, because a lot of things did work but wasn't implemented. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it feels like we're having a conversation where it's like either or there's like a duality here that doesn't need to be there. Like you can walk and chew bubblegum. You can be somebody that looks at the past and tries to create strategy for the present and future by looking back. But you can also be a very present-minded person all the while doing that. It doesn't have to be a duality where it's either you're only someone stuck in the past or someone that's here in the present. You can do both. And even when it comes, even when it comes to MAGA, like you brought up, I wanted to say, MAGA, their whole foundation is based upon looking back at the past and from their perspective, right? What they look at America being great as, right? but they're looking at it from a perspective of what they thought a great America looked like in the past. So even the arguments they make, right? Like the argument Trump makes for birthright citizenship and how it wasn't meant for how it's being used today. It's meant for how it was when we let slaves free. Like a lot of MAGA's arguments is based off of looking at things from their historical lens, right? So when it comes to politics and how it's formed in this country, I would say close to 70% of it is based off of people looking and taking their psychology and perspective of history and then forming or pushing for laws based on that. So
real quick,
even with it, yeah.
Real quick, when we talk about MAGA, and you know this, and I both know this, when you talk about make America, we say MAGA so much that we forget the actual what it means. It says make America great again. We're not talking about now on its face in your mind when you read it, you'll say, let's go back. They want to make it back to whatever, maybe pre-civil rights. Sometimes you could talk about Jim Crow,
antebellum era.
Right. You can go all the way back there. But in actuality, the one thing I've constantly put, and everybody in the Discord will tell you, I'm gonna land because Chef wants to say something, is distraction. Just understand that when they're saying make America great again, that will have you focused on what they're trying to do this, they're trying to do this, they're trying to do this, while in present day and in the future, they're robbing you blind. And it's literally just a robbery. If a person walks into a bank and robs the bank, and they tell you somehow they got a MAGA hat on it, and they're saying we're trying to redistribute the wealth because we're trying to make America great again, that doesn't neglect the fact that they robbed the bank so that they could feed their family or they could commit a crime. So a lot of times with these slogans,
it's rhetoric.
Politics,
it's rhetoric.
Yeah,
I agree. A lot of it's rhetoric. They act like they're constitutionalists. They act like they're constitutionalists, and Trump breaks the Constitution in many ways.
So
right? A lot of it is rhetoric, but then you have to ask yourself, what is the need for the rhetoric? The reason they have this rhetoric, even though they don't follow it, is because at the end of the day, they still need to galvanize supporters.
Yes,
right?
galvanize an unintelligent following. Yes.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying is the game of politics on all sides of it. All of them use rhetoric so they can gain support to do what they actually want to fucking do. Right?
There's a word that y'all leave out when y'all say about the past, and people when they make the quote, they tend to leave a word out because it just don't fit nicely. But it's not study the past or you're doomed to repeat it. It's study the mistakes of the past or you're doomed to repeat them.
Yes.
So it's not always just look at the past. You're looking for where you went wrong in the past so you don't repeat that. And then lastly, Chef and Corey, I'm gonna publicly put y'all on the hot seat because when y'all talk about people in this particular community and y'all saying that they don't understand history or that they can't, they don't have a comprehension of history. I believe that the majority of the people that call themselves leaders in the community just aren't that intelligent when it comes to stuff like that. Because when you try to tell me that you have this great knowledge and this collegiate level PhD knowledge, but you slip up on simple things, it lets me know that you don't even have the base knowledge to even participate in most conversations. You might be able to talk about the most intricate of things in regards to history, but if I ask you what was Reconstruction, or I ask you what was it like during that time, or the antebellum period, or any of that kind of stuff, they have no idea of that. So when they basing their things on, I'm gonna tell you, press some of these people. I'm telling you, what does Corey say? Miss Pemberton. Miss Pemberton failed a lot of these niggas that y'all think are intelligent. And any motherfucker that's telling you that you don't need to get an education to do this, I've heard that 1,000 times. I don't need a formal education to do this. Matter of fact, I don't trust them. You need to run from them motherfuckers as fast as possible, or they're gonna be in your pockets before 5:30 today. Go ahead, Chef.
Oh no, yeah. So I wanted to address how y'all was saying a little bit before, you know, how whether Black History when Mujasi asked the kid about Black History Month, and the kid said it was, how did y'all word it? He said he didn't need it, or it was like blackology. It was a scam, kinda some bullshit. Kinda how so some of the sentiments that that Logic kinda was using about history, right? Or Black History Month. Right? So check this out. Now I'm gonna throw this out there, right? And me and Fetty was talking about this because Fetty kept bringing up 1976 and Gerald Ford, right? So I think a lot of this, and I want Thunder to weigh on this if he could come off mute. Sometimes commercialization of things can water it down and make it seem like it can take the bite out of a thing or its intended purpose, and you know what I mean? So we got to be careful with commercialization, right, of a thing, right? Because the fact that if we know what Black History, Negro History Week was intended to do, we can go read that, right? We know that thing was powerful and useful. To then get to 100 years later, when it's commercialized now, right, by white America and everybody else, now you have Black people and people in general saying you don't even need it no more. It's useless. It's blackology. I think that has a lot to do with the commercialization of it. You dig what I'm saying?
Hey, Chef, I think I know what it is. So remember I was saying in 1976, that was the 200 year, like, to symbolize America and look back on America and how far they went, right? Yes. And it was like an American thing to say, you know what, we need to incorporate Black people into the larger part of the American story. But it seems like in a lot of these combos, even in Black scholars, the more you become American and a part of the commercialized rhetoric, you kind of lose yourself. It's like that double-edged sword.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So like the more you assimilate into larger society, that's what the Southern Negro had a problem with the Northern Negro.
Yeah,
you know
and then you'll start to say you don't need Black history no more. Right?
Yeah. But those are people, look, but it's messed up because when you got young people like Gen Zers who are African American who more looks at shit through a colorblind lens, that's the con side of it. The pro side is that they may see shit in the American framework and the betterment of everyone, but they don't have that ethnic pride that other generations had.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. So it's like a double-edged sword for real.
Good point. All right, yeah, I'm finished. Thunder, you want to weigh in? Brass, Corey? Truist?
No, I got.
I hear what you said. Repeat that.
You said, did you want to weigh in on it? The only thing I've got in regards to that is, sad to say, a lot of these conversations get couched in the conscious community. I just have had to, in order to not fear for the plight of Black people, just realize that this is just a very, 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 very small segment of our population, and that this is not how this online is not how the real world works, because you can't really use real world values in this particular community. It's just a bunch of crazy shit. So I have full faith that I have full faith because what I'm doing works for me and my family, and I'm able to help people in the community, meaning it does reach out past just my home. But I find it very hard to believe, and I think somebody else said it in the chat, I find it very hard to believe. Now, if you do it, you're a saint, that everybody at the sound of my voice wakes up in the morning and starts thinking about the plight of their people before they start thinking about themselves and the people in their home. And I think if you don't start with yourself and start in your home, trying to somehow deal with the plight of all Black people every day, I'm not 100% sure that that's even a life worth living. Because I can understand that it's noble to say that you are 100% 24 hours a day concerned about the plight of your people. But when somebody like Logic says, I'm at work, I'm trying to figure this thing out, I'm trying to help where I can, figure out the things that I can respect that way more than someone that tells me they wake up every day as A. Philip Randolph, when that's just not the case.
No, but A. Philip
No,
Randolph
hold on, Chef.
had
Hold
a
on, Chef. Hold on,
family.
Chef. Hold on.
I
I don't think
heard you.
they weren't really
I'm up.
saying that per se. I think it was more so them trying to hone into a person. Because I think like Logic too in a way, but I think they're trying to hone on to the fact of individual experience. But for certain black people in their mind, a lot of old heads think you can't, even though your experience is unique, you can't forget about the overall plight of black people in our
I
in this
agree.
country. And how,
I agree.
I mean,
Well put.
so I think that's what the convo was.
Well said. I just don't think the people that are saying that, I think it's an overemphasis on because the actions don't match up. I don't think.
I agree. That's why the whole
A
Pan-African thing
crackhead could say it and it still makes sense to me, right? I don't. It doesn't matter who says it. A crackhead could tell me that, young man, your history is useful to your people. Right?
Oh yeah, that's not what I'm saying though, Chef.
I don't. That nigga could be high, and I can still say, yeah, that motherfucker can't keep a drug needle out his motherfucking arm, but
he's cooking on that point though.
No, that's 100%.
Like
that's 100%. I'm saying niggas ain't waking up Martin Luther King, and then two, what I'm saying, the other piece, and I think we don't be listening to Logic because he keeps his game is basically the same. He ain't running game. He's been very consistent. The man has said 1,000 times, the same people that's telling him what he need to do and fix his worldview and this, that, and the other, have fooled motherfuckers into thinking that somehow if we figure out if the Egyptians was black, everything gonna be okay. Or at least once we solve that, then that's the biggest hurdle. Like the Egyptians being black is the biggest hurdle to the success of the black race in 2026. So you got to think when he's listening to people tell him what he ain't doing and this, that, and the other, he's thinking, and I mean, Logic, correct me, but he's also trying to figure out how the fuck is you telling me what I ain't doing when you off in fucking the Mediterranean somewhere trying to solve some shit. Like, Chef, you said it perfectly. When you get, for all of those who pay bills, next time you get your energy bill, open that motherfucker. Don't just read the text of how much you owe. Don't read the email and scroll through the email to find the number so you can pay it. Most people have read UNESCO, but won't read the power bill that comes to their fucking house every day to figure out if they being charged.
When you say most people, you mean most people in this community. That's not the real world. That's not.
No, I'm saying most people. Wait. On that particular statement, I'm saying most people. Period. But most people. Period. Don't know more about the bitumen over in the Mediterranean.
Let me be even more specific.
Are going. Hold on, Logic. 2 seconds. The people, when I say people, period, most people, period, they working 9 jobs. They trying to figure out their marriage, raise their kids, and this, that, and other. The shit they trying to do to get through life, they don't got time to read that shit, even if it'll help them. I'm saying, if you so fucking educated on all this other shit, but you can't help me with with the Bondi hearings in Congress, you don't know shit about that, and that's affecting you today and your people way more than whether the bitumen was black or the bulls was black. That shit don't matter.
Yeah,
that's misinformation.
Let me say it in a way that I feel like it's going to hit home even better, right? Because a couple times in this conversation, this came up about reclaiming our humanity and our dignity from antiquity, right? And let's replace the bitumen and the Mediterranean stuff with that particular statement, right? If we were able to successfully claim that sub-Saharan Africans alone
built the pyramids, right? How would that alleviate some of the social pressures here in America? If that is the goal of reclaiming our humanity there, how does that relieve the pressures that we're talking about today? Which is, I could have sworn would have been a more pressing issue at the end of the day. That's why when Reggie said we might as well refocus on that stuff, how does that help us reclaim or get more efficient at taking advantage of the stuff that we don't take advantage of now? See, like, I feel like I'm being, again, really consistent. I've been saying the same thing, and I don't see the connection. You
But
know
yeah,
what I'm saying? So I'm not
let's
saying
be
that
fair. Like during Black
history can't
History
play
Month,
some sort of a role in us maybe gaining some confidence or allowing us to see ourselves as having very rich cultures before the transatlantic slave trade. Yes, that's great, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of how we use it and push ourselves forward is where I see a little bit of a disconnect.
yeah,
So
but let's
first
be
off,
fair.
people gotta believe.
During Black
Hold
History
on, let me.
Month. Oh yeah, go ahead, Chef. My fault.
Yeah,
My fault.
I want to say that for a whole group of people, first off, they gotta believe that they're not inferior. They gotta believe that they're not inferior, right? So if they believe, right, if everything in society teaches them that they are inferior, Carter G. Woodson in history was trying to teach Black people, right, through history that you are not inferior. Then all of those other things can. Now, I don't think you get it.
I'm saying I get it so much to where I'll admit I was naive that I didn't even know niggas felt like they was inferior. I didn't relate to that. I didn't know that. I had to come here and hear other people tell us, you didn't know that niggas thought they were. I didn't know. No, I
Did
did
you
not
know
know that.
Did you know that white people felt superior? Because part of Carter G. Woodson,
Yes, I did know that, and I attributed it to being arrogant and ignorant.
No, hold on. If one group,
part of his work, like you just said it, Chef, half of his work was making Black people feel that they weren't inferior. The other half was showing white people that you're not superior. So if you saw that white people walk around or profess that they are superior in the present day and the past, right? Would that not be something that would be effective to change that psychology so we can move forward in a socio-economic and political way?
Right. So if white people, the reason why Jim Crow, right? Remember, he was in Jim Crow time. The reason why white people felt justified with their Jim Crow laws and stuff is because they felt as though we were inferior, that they were superior. Now, if the whole society create laws, implement education, economic structures, all of it points to you being inferior. How could that not affect Black people? How could we not?
I didn't say it couldn't affect us.
No.
To me in my house,
but it
to
did.
me in my house. Okay, I understand it did. To me at my house, I was never under the impression that I was inferior.
Nobody was, though. Logic. Nobody.
Well, I don't. Well, then that's where I'm trying to figure out. So, if you didn't grow up thinking that you was inferior, when did you realize, or when did it dawn on you?
I gotta read Martin Luther King to you that. I gotta read Martin Luther King letter from the Birmingham jail. Now, Martin Luther King grew up in a middle class household, but he talked about how the society.
Now, my lifetime, and I'm a young man, I knew white people felt they were superior when I was in elementary school and I saw Ralph Lauren say, "I don't want niggas wearing my clothes."
Yeah, so hold on. So Martin Luther King, right? When he tells the story of a middle class Black kid in the South, right? He said, "Yo, when I gotta tell my child, when my child brings the paper home, right, and looking and see that the amusement park is opening up, right, And then I gotta somehow tell my child that Funland ain't open to her because she's black. And now I gotta watch the tears well up in her eyes. And now she'll have to start judging herself according to the white world. And I can see the inferiority complex start to build in her. How the fuck can we sit here and say that? Now, my parents say, of course he never told his children that they were inferior. Of course he always told his daughters that they were fucking beautiful and that they didn't have to be behind anybody. But when they leave out the house, if the society reinforces something different than what you enforce in the house, your child is going to experience that. Logic, come on, bro. Come on, it ain't what you, of course, everybody parent is going to tell them that they're smart, that they're this, that, and the third. But when they go outside, they see them, if they see their society, right? If I look at my school and I see my school is fucked up and those white kids' schools ain't fucked up. If I look around my neighborhood and see dilapidated houses and poverty everywhere, but I look at white America and I see that they don't live like that, I'll start to look at everything between black and white. One is superior and one is inferior. If I look at my education and he get a better education than me, I automatically know that he has a superior education and I have an inferior education. All of this builds an inferiority complex in the subjected group. I don't know how you somehow missed that because your parents told you
not missing
you good.
that, right? And maybe there might be something else going on that I'm missing, right? Reggie thinks he is superior to me, right? He thinks because he got a computer science degree and he laid up under somebody's feet for a couple of years that make him superior. That shit don't affect me. That's just some ignorant shit that he think in his mind, but it didn't change the shit in my mind about myself. So I'm saying if Reggie don't have no power to some sort of a way sway that into an advantage for him thinking them ignorant ass thoughts actually don't affect
that
me
is
like
the
that.
difference, Logic.
So
that's what I'm trying to
Wait, hold on, Chef, let me finish my statement. No, let me finish what I'm saying. Then you can go. So I'm saying the thing that actually is what it's affecting is the power that they have, right? And the power that they have ain't in their ignorance. At least the way I see that shit, right? That's when you go back to all the congressional precedents, right? You go back to all the other shit that is affecting us, and we do have some influence in there, right? That would be like what I focus on, not necessarily the antiquity history or the build up to how we actually arrived at this particular paradigm. Like that's just how I see it, Chef. I mean, I get what you're saying. You are making sense. Yes, I can see where that would have a very detrimental effect on a large group of people. And maybe there's something wrong with me that I could block it out in that particular weird way. I don't know. But that's an example of somebody. That's an example of somebody's ignorance, right? And their ignorance, right? His ignorance don't translate into power, right? Theirs does. But it works through a particular system. It works through a particular system that we actually can understand. I don't need to understand why Reggie thinks what he thinks. That ain't even important.
Is an individual. When we're talking about the race,
that's exactly what I explained.
Oh, yes, but what you're explaining is exactly why, in our experience, we describe racism as power plus prejudice. What you just said about Reggie not having the power to actually affect your everyday life, right? Even though the actual definition of racism doesn't involve power in it from a textbook definition, the way we've come to understand racism from a Black American framework is that it's race I mean, it's race, power plus prejudice. So the power that white supremacy has as a collective group that follows the same ignorant thought process you're talking about, because it is absolutely ignorant, but it has the power to affect your everyday life. It absolutely does. And the fact that they believe that they are superior, whether you believe them, whether you believe you're inferior or not, holds no weight over the fact that another group and collective of people in this country think they're superior to you and that you can lose your life because of that, or that laws can be created because of that, or things that can be taken out of textbooks because of that. All because another collective of people in this country think they're superior to you. And you can think these
So what was
motherfuckers is
Thurgood
crazy.
Marshall's problem? Why all that ain't stop? Why all that didn't slow him down? What was Thurgood Marshall's problem?
So
And people like
wait, hold on, I'll answer you.
What was his problem?
I
I'll answer
understand
you.
why
I'll
y'all
answer you.
care with
Did
the
he
white
feel
man thing.
inferior?
Get to it.
Wait. Is it the
Why y'all
very
crying about
reason?
with the white man thing?
Is it the very reason we look at Thurgood Marshall as an exemplary, exceptional Black American? Because he was able to do something that the average Black American can't do and has not done. So you bringing up somebody that is an exception to the rule,
You just said
it's
you
not
can't do
proving
it.
the point. I didn't say he couldn't do it. I'm
No, you
saying
just said you couldn't do it. That's what you
I
said.
didn't. Wait. I never said I couldn't do it.
Do what Thurgood Marshall could do. Who the fuck do you think you is, Logic? Ain't
I
nobody
ain't
doing
thinking
that
of
shit.
nobody. I'm saying that I'm saying
I
why he
never
ain't
said
feel
that a
inferior.
person.
Yeah,
I
had that
never said a
position, you
person.
Why
gotta
did
have a
he just
high
go up
I
there and
never
get
said
to
that
it?
it was impossible for a Black American to achieve anything. I didn't say that. What I said is whether you think you're inferior or not, there are people that think they're superior, and that has tangible effects on your everyday life. Whether you believe the crazy shit they believe or not, they are the ones that are in control of policy making, law making, and law enforcement. I had to grow up understanding from my dad that I couldn't behave a certain way with law enforcement because I might not make it home. I didn't
The
think I
high
was going to.
dropout rate, right? So the high dropout rate that they witnessed in the 60s and the 70s and in the Black schools, right? They directly made a correlation towards self-esteem. If those people felt as though that education really wasn't going to help them, right? That their plight was going to still kind of be the same regardless. That was their self-esteem, right? They was looking at the plight of people who looked like them, the people immediately in their community. They didn't see their life. I didn't see gang members, right? Or children who grew up in crazy gang areas. Their self-esteem was so shot. Most of them didn't think they would make it past the age of 25. You feel me? So we can't act like social ramifications does not play a part in our self-esteem and our ability to become solvent in this society or in the society that we live in. Right?
And Chef, here's what I'm saying to you. Let's say the person has full self-esteem. Let's say that little Black boy got all the confidence in the world, and let's say he thinks he's better than white people. Guess what? He can still get
beat
killed.
out of him.
He can still get killed by a white boy that thinks he's superior to him. Because it doesn't even matter if you have low self-esteem. There is a collective of people that believe they're superior to you. And whether you have high self-esteem or low self-esteem, there is a real life consequences because of this collective's power.
And there's a reality also that we all have to face. I hate to change it just a taste, but some of these people that do make policy and do think they're superior and do believe white, it ain't just them, it's also Black people too. It's Hispanics.
I agree.
It's Asians too. So when we focus too much on the white man, in every walk of America, your self-esteem is esteem of yourself. That's what my grandmother taught me. You don't go looking outside for your self-esteem. You don't go looking for, this is something that you build as a pride. this is something that you have to. Self-esteem is something that's developed, and it's developed throughout life. You know, when you have insecurities, you know, some guys, they just had a video the other day of a guy just did 10 years in prison, went home, killed his ex-wife, left the husband there just because, you know, the guy, he couldn't deal with it. He couldn't deal with it. He killed her the day he got out. Couldn't deal with it. He couldn't deal with just the some people can't deal. There's when you're trying to build your self-esteem, when you get around other people, like Corey, Chef, Logic, all of us in here, one of the things in these conversations that we always have is just like your parents told you, there's always somebody stronger than you. Like you might be the bully and you can fight now in the 4th grade, but in the 5th grade, this is a nigga in there that'll beat the dog shit out you. It happens in these conversations both ways, where you think that you what you saying is some tough shit, so somebody say some shit to make you be like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like Chef is just a barber, but some of the shit that he done said, besides him telling us just a barber, explain a lot of this shit, the shit that I just came up with. I can't come up with. Stu P said some shit this morning. I just couldn't come up with. I was like, okay, I see it differently now. So I think once we start delving into the white man is the main person trying to hold us back, this, that, and the other, like I said, some of that, not all of it, some of that is rhetoric. Sometimes you just got to be focused on running your race and understand that it's a lot of people that's trying to knock you off your square, and they're not all Caucasian. You know, and that's a dealing in politics with me. That's what I've come to see more than anything. That it is not all. We don't live in a. Yes, white and black is real, and you know we could say that it's what y'all be saying race is a social construct. Okay, but if you don't understand that social construct is fucking real, then I think now you're more delusional than anybody else. If you're walking this earth saying white people, there's no such thing as white and black. It's a social construct. Nigga, please.
Mm-mm. Yeah, we don't live in a post-racial.
I tell them all go. I told them from the beginning when I heard it, take your ass out. Let me see how much of a construct it is.
What the fuck?
Let me see how much of a fucking construct.
Corey, hold on, Corey, you had made a post last night that you never clarified, right?
I made a few of them. I forgot which one.
Can I borrow the microphone for 2 seconds? That's
no. Hey, Chef, I reposted.
Hey, Thunder, how you doing, bro? Y'all good? Y'all good, Thunder? You okay, brother? Because you know, you left out of here pretty fast yesterday. We didn't get a chance to say goodbye, brother. So
hold on. I want to deal with that. It's 2 things. I got 2 things.
Go ahead, Sean. I was just saying hi to Thunder. Just checking in on. Just checking in. Do a little hospital care. So
first, Corey, you had posted a video, a Gullah video, and said, "I would never go this far." What the fuck was you talking about?
You know what? Hey, thank you.
Gullah was doing the video. He already know I fucked with him on this already, right?
Right.
But he did a video. So what it was? Let me start here first of all. So my iPad, right? I found like new features. I don't know if YouTube just updated it, so like you can go back and you can see all your or maybe I just did. I wasn't up on it, but you can see all the clips you ever did. I never knew you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would scroll down and I seen a clip, and it was a clip that I did at Gullah where he was like, yeah, he was on the panel with I think, and he was they were talking about the social construct shit. It's a fucking coincidence, right? And he was like, yeah, I ain't never did that black shit. That black shit always been some monkey shit to me. And I was like, wow. That's why I said I would never go that.
Oh my God.
He said the black shit is some monkey shit to me. What does that mean?
I have no idea. Take it in the most racist way you can.
No, what he was saying. to be fair, I know what he meant. Like, so to be fair, I know what he meant. I just was with it.
All humans are
There
cattle and
was like
monkeys.
you
That's what he's
just
saying.
No, but it's just, but when you say something like that, the social standing is a little crazy. The statement, like, you're like, okay, even if that's what he meant, when you say that black people shit is some monkey shit, it gets.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
Yeah, you don't say that. That's like a hot mic moment. You don't say that shit on like a mic.
That's like Unc saying that Dr. York ain't. I don't believe Dr. York did it. Like he didn't know that mic was hot.
Yeah, but
like,
wait. So
I'm gonna be fair with him. What he was saying, so it's wild to me either way. But what he was saying though is, you know, he don't refer to people as black. He don't like calling people black. You know, that's below. You know what I'm saying?
But do he call them monkeys then?
No, he was just saying that's some monkey ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that he was way. What up, Day? It was he shouldn't have said it, but it was a bad choice of words. That's all.
Okay.
He didn't mean nothing by it. It was just a bad choice of words right there.
That's a tough statement, though. I give him that. That's some tough shit.
Yeah.
all right, so now my second piece, right? Now my second piece. Now, when we deal with Carter G. Woodson, right? Remember, we always, this conversation, no matter where it goes at, get that spray paint, y'all. Like Corey said, get that spray paint. We was talking about Carter G. Woodson, right? And Black History Month, right? So, and the reason why the self-esteem and all of that got brought up is because we act like that's not even the main work that we know in the Black community, far as wise his written work. The main written work that we know about Carter G. Woodson in the Black community is what book, y'all?
The Miseducation of the Negro, right?
The Miseducation of the Negro.
Yeah, that's what I knew him for.
Right?
Yeah.
So in there, he lays it all out. There's no way that you can get around. He felt as though the educational system put an inferiority complex in Black people. That is his greatest book that Black people know about from Carter G. Woodson, and he got about 15 of them. But the main one we go to,
that's true. That's true.
And how the new age generation, brass, people like me and your age, or you're a little bit younger than me. But anyway, from Everybody Loves Lauryn Hill, right? She reintroduced it to us, right? With the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. You dig what I'm saying? She was piggybacking off the Miseducation of the Negro, right? And he was saying that education, right, creates an inferiority complex in Black people. So one of his main drivers, so when we sit around and act like Black people is not dealing with with self-esteem issues, right? We even dealt with that with Mujasi's fire pit, with the goddamn Naeem Akbar and them even talked about it. So I mean, like that's a real thing. If we acting like Black, now one thing we don't want to do is lie to ourselves. Now, of course, we want to go around white people and act like, yeah, I'm the shit. We always give that off. You dig what I'm saying? But in general, we measure ourselves to white America. We can't act like we don't. You dig what I'm saying? And everything. That's why we stick to sports so much, because we feel as though we kind of best them in that. So we promote ourselves as being superior in athletics, right? If we was doing that shit in academics, you think we wouldn't be, motherfucker, we the greatest. We would be doing it, but we don't beat them in academics. So we kind of hide that shit. You feel me? We sweep that shit under the fucking rug. You know what I mean? And we make every excuse for that shit, right? When you say, yo, it ain't that many Black medical doctors. Cause motherfucking becoming a doctor is fucking hard work. That shit hard. You know what I mean? Niggas know, yeah, now it could be other factors why socioeconomic
Yeah,
factors.
it's also very expensive too.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm putting that in there. You dig what I'm saying? Right? Put all of that in there. But you got to be a smart motherfucker to become a doctor also. We ain't even gonna play. You ain't going to no doctor who ain't, you know what I mean? Like, we put the motherfuckers up there, right? So a lot of that got to do with our inferiority complex. When you look at college curriculum and college courses, right? Black kids stay away from math and science. We stay away.
Chef. When they pick them majors, when they send them with them
we
school
go for the ones
counselors,
that's a
that's a
part of our
fact.
inferiority complex.
That's a fact.
So we can't lie to ourselves, right? When I'm having conversations with the family can lay that shit out. You dig what I'm saying? We can lay that shit out and say what the fuck it really is. You know what I mean? We don't feel as though we do good. And black people will sit there and brag about they don't fuck with math and shit like that. That's kind of a brag to us. You know what I mean? Like, you ever heard of black? Yeah, I ain't never really fuck with math and shit like that. You be like, bro, that's
I used to be in class and had classmates, tell the teacher like with all like sincerity, the fuck I'm learning this shit for.
Yeah.
In real life, how I'm gonna apply this shit? I'm like, bro.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
Chef,
Chef,
inferiority complex.
When you say we compare ourselves to white America, part of what makes that okay is we're not the only race that does that. All races in this country compare each other
themselves
to
to
all
white
races,
America.
and more importantly, white America. And all races in this country focus on what they're good at and hide what they're bad at. So, like you said, for us, right, when you bring it up sports, that was a great example of what we do to kind of shine in entertainment, right? But when you look at like the Asian community, they are the ones that do show, look, we're good at math. We're good at statistics and science and analytical stuff. And they kind of hide the fact they suck at sports, right? So when it comes to the racial demographics of this country, all groups do it. I just think we feel bad about ourselves doing it because we don't look at the other groups that do the same damn thing.
But I think too true though, just to add a layer to the conversation. I like where you're going, Chef. This is what I mean by we got to be careful about making everything black and white, because we also look at mathematicians as some white people shit.
Yes, sir.
Like even when motherfuckers be talking about science, I've seen it happen a bunch of times. Motherfuckers be like, "Oh, that's that white people science." Like, nah, nigga, it's science. Like it's math. It's not math. Being a mathematician is not white. Now we're underrepresented in that particular thing, but one of the things that happens with us, I don't know if that's a inferiority or a form of racism we place on ourselves.
Self-esteem.
Yeah, we look at certain things as just, oh, that's what they do type shit.
Or even talking proper. You talk proper in certain.
That's why I kind of like Tony. I don't think Tony talks proper, but it's like I love the fact that he's black because he's the whitest sounding black man I've ever heard in the history of black people. But it's like not truest. I think truest will say.
Yeah, I just want to say y'all the only community, well, the only group within this community, within this conscious community that I've entered into this space and wasn't accused of being a white boy.
Oh yeah, no, I know you perfectly, but bro, I went to private. Hey, listen, I went to private school my entire life. I went to.
You're from Jersey. You're from a city I'm nearby, by the way, Brass. I live in New York now, but I'm from New Jersey.
Okay,
so your accent is very familiar to me.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, and here's the funny thing.
That's that East
Until
Orange.
you started talking, and I kind of figured that, but I don't be bothering motherfuckers. But I kind of figured that because I was like, yeah, you sounded, but it's like based on how you speak and the topics that you speak on and how you talk, I know for a fact you've had a black experience. Because it's you don't, people don't. I've had these conversations in politics with all walks of life. It's just certain statements that just reverberate, where it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. But yeah, no, I told you, ever since you were on that show with them women, I never remember it, but I remember that conversation because you tore. It was Marcus and another nigga. You tore them motherfuckers apart on philosophy. Something about philosophy. They was trying to explain soft sciences and hard sciences. And this is what I
Yeah,
mean.
He and a lot of people do this when they say something's not scientific, they're talking from a biological framework, and they try to act like the social sciences aren't scientists. So, like for example, when you say racism is scientific, that is a idiotic statement. It absolutely is scientific. It's not a biological reality, but race is studied using the scientific method in anthropology, in the social fields, in psychological fields. So it is scientific, right? And that was the conversation I was having with you.
Yeah.
So
you know, it's crazy on the other side.
And I'm someone that has a degree in a social science field, right? So I understand the methodology that is employed when you are practicing a social science like a psychology or a sociology. They follow the scientific method in their research and analysis of an individual or population, right? But in this community, people only focus on the biological aspect of science.
No,
so they
but
only
here's the thing, but it's because they don't have the ability to do anything else. That's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes in conversations, you can just highlight and realize, like, oh, this nigga has no idea what he's talking about. And part of the thing when I work with my youth groups, one of the things that I always tell them is, you don't ever have, this is what I mean by esteeming yourself. Sometimes, Chef, you just got to get young black people in the room with these people that they think are so fucking smart and that I think are so fucking ahead of them. You got to get them in the room. That's one of my mentors, Mr. Gibson. He believes just get a black person in the room with them so that they can get past all of that bullshit. When I went to St. Benedict's, you don't realize I went to a urban middle school and then went to St. Benedict's. And I was terrified actually because, in Ohio it was all white, blacks, but in the Midwest, white and black is kind of synonymous. Chef Corey can explain that to you better than I can. But it's not, yes, they know I'm black and yes, they know we white, but we all struggle. So it's not really it ain't really like a black-white dynamic. But Corey, you can tell me if I said that right. But the other part is, but when you get to these schools, Chef, and you get in the room, and this is no, bro, they are dumb as fuck. Like, they actually aren't taught all the shit that you think that they're taught. They're actually not as sharp as you think that they are. Then panel that out to Ohio State. Panel that out to doing business. Panel that out to going to real estate conferences.
They got a system. They are part of a system.
Right. Yeah. These are people where you could look like the only way you got to Ohio State is because your father gave money. The only fucking way you even got to where you are is because of something else. It may not be skin color. And it's not, it could be a Hispanic, it could be an Asian. But I'm just saying, and this is to anybody that's listening to this show that's young or the youth. If you hear it in 2090, just get in the room. Don't worry about how you get in the room, whether it be scholarship, whether it be grant, whether you got to wait 2 jobs, no matter what it is. Get into the room. Your self-esteem will go up by loads because you'll realize it's literally a false evidence appearing real. That's your fear. They're not as smart as you. They're not all as smart as you. None of it matches that fear. None of it, bro. None of it. And I would love to hear other people say, not just sports and athletics, but just education-wise. They're just not, everybody is not like, you just get in there and fight, bro. Just get in there and fight. And don't listen to nobody telling you that that's a white man's education. Why are you going to go get that? How much money can you make with that? Like, it's not, bro, we're trying to change the world sometimes with what we're doing. Yes, we're trying to make money, but sometimes we're trying to change the world. I'm in here because I'm getting pissed off. I hate seeing little black boys like that, Chef. I don't know if that bothers you, but little black boys and girls where it's like you could tell they just intimidated by color. And then you got these old ass niggas constantly talking about color. And you realize like, oh, because their father and mother was telling them in school that's some in their home that was some white people shit. When he went and told him, I want to be a mathematician. Why you want to go and do that? How much do that make? See, like, we're not just fighting against no fucking fictitious white person. We're fighting against our own family's inferiorities and the people around us too.
Hey, Brass, can I say something real quick, Brass?
Why do y'all always ask me that? Talk.
All right. I feel your sentiments on that, and I agree. And I will be the first one to raise my hand when I graduated from high school way back in 1990. After never going to school with a white person, period, at all, in my entire life, going to college was a very intimidating experience because it just was go through all those thoughts. Am I smart enough? Am I, you don't know what the hell these white people learned. And like you've been taught, I think, like I heard some of the brothers talk about that inferiority, superiority thing. It's in you whether you feel it or not, bro. It's there and it's all around you. And I just wanted to be the first one to raise my hand and say, yeah,
I
was
appreciate that.
As fuck, going to college, and trying to compete with these goddamn mysterious ass great people.
We black people, we always gotta be the toughest, right? Any type of vulnerability, like we sit here in 2026 and act like what has been done to us historically don't have no effect on us. Like it's insane. We just always so tough. Nothing never fucks with us. You feel me? Like why we gotta be like that? It's almost like we don't even keep the shit real with our fucking selves. Like that shit is insane. Like no people could go through what we went through and come out unscathed. You would have to be, now we not human. At this point, we not even fucking human we can't lie to ourselves. That's the main point, right? And that's the whole thing about, and Logic even acknowledged this. He said, yo, maybe I'm blocking something. Maybe I'm deliberately not coping mechanisms. Yo, we developed all kind of coping mechanisms through this shit. You feel me? Like, just to be, you know what I mean? Just to be, for Logic, and Logic, I'll be listening to you, right? If you can come off mute for a second, right?
Oh, mute.
I'll be listening to you, right? And other conversations, right? And I listen to all y'all, trust me. You know what I mean? I don't listen to y'all to argue with y'all. I listen to understand y'all, and I listen from a point of compassion, right? And Logic, you made a statement. I don't know if we was live, but it was in one of these conversations, and you were talking about how you were looked at as different even in the black community because your parents forced you to enunciate your words properly. That black people used to look at you like you were different, right? Now, even when you said that and we start talking about other stuff, I can see how that affected you, because you even start talking about, nigga, how you deal with women, right? And all of it affects everything. So if those things like that on an individual level can affect us, and everybody could look back when sometime in their development, when they were looked at as the odd one, right? It could have been for anything, but I guarantee you every child and their development was looked at as the odd one at one point or another in their fucking lives, and it affected them, right? And we go through our whole life with that traumatic experience. So if a whole people was looked at as other than and ostracized, right? You're telling me that that's not going to affect that whole community. And so now it won't express itself the same way in each individual, but they all carry it to some degree. And we can't get around that shit. You know what I mean? So I want you to address that.
Let me drop a bomb for that.
I feel like, go ahead, drop a bomb.
Talk that shit, nigga. Pump that shit. Go ahead, Elijah.
No, and you're absolutely right. I think it did have an effect on me, and I think at the time I wasn't necessarily aware. But what I had come to learn is the way I respond to that is actually what meant more than the actual like circumstance itself, right? Like what did I actually do about my behavior? Like did I find some other ways to deal with it or cope with it? And whether I had to or not, I did. You kind of get me what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah, yeah.
so
Do you think that
even
affects?
in the even
Hold
in the
on.
midst of it having an effect, right? It couldn't hinder me. I couldn't let it affect me to the point where I stopped trying to figure it out, right?
Yes,
Or
sir.
stop trying to find other ways where I could maybe blend or be a lot more comfortable in social situations. I still had to figure it out,
Yes,
regardless
sir.
of how I felt about that. You feel me? Like it didn't
Mhm. You couldn't let
eliminate
it.
the
You couldn't let
yeah,
it stop you, right?
exactly.
So right there, right there. So do you think the way that you learned how to cope with that experience, do you think you look at other things, right? And you
Absolutely.
and you
I
approach
don't
it
I feel
in a
like
similar
that
way.
I feel like there ain't going I may not ever experience a challenge that hard. I seriously believe that. I may
Right.
not ever
So when you
be
say
so
history,
emotionally and physically challenged by one thing to that degree.
exactly. So when somebody say, yo, something about history, you jump to, bro, how the fuck is that going to help you move forward with this? Because you always had to look at something from that traumatic. You know what? I'm not no psychiatrist. Let me stop. This shit.
No, say just say it. I get what
You're
you're
doing
saying. It
good though.
ain't
You're
yeah,
doing good though.
just say what you're saying. I'm
You ain't over.
understanding what you're
You're not
saying.
overstepping.
No, so like how we you ever
I
see
would say it was traumatic. I can be honest enough to say, yeah, that was some heavy shit I was dealing with.
right? So that trauma, right? How you was able to work through that, right? Do you think you apply that to social trauma also? Do you kind of try to weave your way through it almost with a neglect of what it is and this is what I'm going to do to move forward without even worrying about that because I can't do nothing about that? Like, do you kind of use the same mechanism kind of to,
I could be and not doing it. But I think that one of the biggest lessons I learned is that I can't necessarily focus on the trauma more than I can like the process of the breakthrough, in air quotes, right? The things that got me through were the things I needed to focus on, not the trauma. You kind of get what I'm saying? I couldn't
yes,
find inspiration in the trauma, but I could find inspiration in the baby steps that got me out the trauma. You follow what I'm saying? And that is a lot
now you
more
see that,
about planning.
Stupees. Now, do you see that? Do you see that we're all working through some shit, like, and all working towards the same goal? Everybody don't gotta attack it the same way. You know what I mean? Like, but go ahead, Lodge.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of what of my answers be attempting to kind of slant the conversation in that particular direction, right? Whereas if we sit there and maybe sort of relish or I might be using the wrong word, but we just sit there and dwell within the trauma. It's hard to find inspiration. It's hard to find those baby steps looking for the breakthrough, right? But if we are constantly looking for the breakthrough, I might try this, might try that, might try this, might try that, and along the way, whatever those little successes are, you start building some confidence, right? You start saying, okay, well, next time I encounter this, I know I can handle it like this, and then so you're not so anxious about entering in that situation that could have been very anxious before. You kind of get what I'm saying? And maybe that steers a lot of my answers into like, okay, let's not spend so much time in the trauma and attempt to find those baby steps that lead to the breakthrough. Because the breakthrough is somewhere, right? Like it may not even necessarily be eliminating the actual problem or the thing that makes you anxious, but you having the being prepared to actually deal with that. Now you can go in there with a little bit more confidence. You know what I'm saying? Now that's
And
a
I
lot
like
more of
what
how I look at it.
I like what you said right there about the trauma doesn't motivate. See, a lot of times that's something that's rare. That's very rare for someone to say, it's not usually a motherfucker got to get their shit repossessed and evicted before they get their mind right. Motherfuckers got to go through a certain level of trauma and build from that. It's that running Instagram joke of, look at a guy that's in shape in his 30s and this and the other. That's a nigga who girl cheated on him. He didn't know how to deal with it, so he threw that shit into the gym. But what you're saying is, like, you're not a guy. I don't need to tell you, in order for you to have a successful restaurant, I don't need to tell you, well, most restaurants fail in the first 2-3 years. That actually would be counterproductive for you. Tell me, let me figure this out. And then now you also said about the history, and that tells me a lot about, even knowing you, that tells me a lot about you with that too, because then it goes with history. You're more a person that's like, I'm not trying to learn from some other shit that another nigga failed from. This is how I fight. I'm gonna throw this against the wall. I'm gonna throw that against the wall. Then I'm gonna throw some more shit against the wall. And in my basic preference, you're using history, you just don't know it. Because in your history, throwing shit up against the wall and trying this when this don't work, and trying that when that don't work, and trying something else, that's actually, you're using history, just not in the way that maybe these guys are talking about. So that's good to know. That's good to know that you actually think in a way of like, all right, well, that didn't work, we just try something else. Most people, Logic, they don't get past the first that didn't work. Most people don't go to college because, like I'm telling you, your parents sometimes is your worst fucking enemies. Them friends that ain't never did the shit that you was able to accomplish, but they constantly telling you what you should do. Like that's how I move. I don't listen. It's very difficult for me to listen to people tell me what they can't do. Because when I hear them telling me what I can't do, because when I hear people telling me what I can't do, all I really hear is them telling me what they can't do. And they trying to put their fucking frailties and insecurities on me. And you got to be careful with that kind of shit. So that's why I'm telling you, everything don't got to be fixed. Because now that we listen to you, we can see you just need to be talked to a little different. Your motivation is a little different. Some people could say it's arrogant for a motherfucker to say, can't nobody tell me what to do. But I'm telling you, when a motherfucker is telling you what you don't have the ability to do, they're talking about themselves out loud. They're just using you. They're telling you they can't be a millionaire. They're telling you that you can't own this. They're telling you that you can't change the world. So, yeah, I have a full respect for history, but I can agree with Logic. I'm a little bit more like Logic in that way. Keep throwing shit up against the wall, bro. The only motherfuckers don't really succeed, they just don't quit. And if you just don't quit, then you're good.
Yeah, but if it's a problem, right? If it's a problem, and we acknowledge the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still having a hard time, with making an issue out of if come on, I knew this girl was gonna call me now. God,
there go your problem.
Right. Hold on, y'all go ahead.
Yeah, and that's a main reason why if y'all ever hear me speak, I never use the word problem. Even if I say the word problem, I immediately stop, catch myself, and change it to challenge, because problems, for me, a problem is too much. Problem mean it sounds like some shit I can't really get over. I got to spend a whole lot of time. So I just changed the word to challenge. Challenges are fun. Challenges, for me, challenges are fun. Challenges are something that I can put together, get together, and go fight. I could write some shit down and figure out a challenge. I don't think I have any problems. And one of the main reasons why I say I don't have any problems is because when you start thinking about how many problems you have, I wish you could look at the person next to you and see what they're dealing with. You'll calm the fuck down.
You said on a couple different occasions, and I gotta see where you at on this chessboard. But I've heard you say that you play chess, right? So
Yeah.
you know, in chess, you can make moves that have multiple purposes, right?
Yeah.
So you know, you can make a move on like that, a defensive move that also attacks something. You know what I'm saying? It might block check and actually attack another piece.
Yeah.
You know, just for an example, right? So
might even be 10 moves later.
Exactly. You might be setting up something. So a lot of times when I hear these kind of conversations, I feel as if we're making an attempt to do to make a move like that, and it may not be the best move, right? Like that, you may have found a dual purpose move, but there still might have been a better way at going about what you were trying to accomplish. This is my example, right? So when we're talking about history, right, and we're attempting to talk about history in a way that reclaims our humanity, well, now we're attempting to make a move that has two purposes, right? So if the purpose for reclaiming our humanity has something to do with our self-esteem, there actually might be a better way at arriving at that breakthrough. It is my larger point. Like there may be a more I don't know, maybe I'm gonna just use the word direct. There may be a more direct way at arriving there if that's what the purpose of you using it for in the first place was, right? Like you can have your history, right? And you can get out of it what you get out of it, but if your ultimate goal was to gain confidence, your ultimate goal was to realize your humanity or make you feel like that you can accomplish certain things, there may be another way. We don't necessarily have to use history to get us there, right? That's what my big point is. I don't know how that gets lost so often in what I'm in everything else that I'm saying, but because I feel like I've been saying that same thing. But if that's what we're looking for ultimately is a breakthrough on confidence, history might not be the best conduit, or it certainly isn't the only conduit, but it seems to be the most used conduit in this particular environment at times. So when I'm attempting to kind of have that conversation of, okay, we could go about that process in a different way, it kind of gets tossed around in all sorts of different directions. I'm anti-black, or now I'm whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? The whole time I'm actually listening to exactly what you're talking about, and if like you might be trying to do it that particular way, and there's certainly a different way to go about that for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also, no disrespect, but all disrespect. There's a lot of unserious niggas in this community. There's a lot of unserious motherfuckers that you're supposed to treat. You could treat somebody with respect, but not somebody with reverence. When we have these conversations, I sometimes feel like when more of the leader type people or the alphas in the community, it's almost like you got to be reverent or bow down to them in order to talk to them. You can't never talk on an even plane. It's like I gotta become your butler or your maid in order for me to have a conversation with you. And then as we start talking, I forgot you're treating me like your butler or your maid. So I think believe half what you hear, believe everything that you see in this particular group. And then that way, like I said, if you're perturbed or you're bothered because of some niggas in the conscious community and what they saying or what they thinking about you, let me be here to tell you, bro. You got me out of it with 5 months, bro. I would not let nobody in this motherfucker grade me on my real life. You just can't. It's not as that. They'll tell you keep the online life separate and keep the real life separate. You got to, because you'll start taking critiques from niggas that ain't never done nothing. Who think who think Kemet on trial is some of these niggas' greatest accomplishment in life. Kemet
but
gonna
no,
try.
but in all seriousness, isn't it a substantial insult when they try to, when I certainly make all the efforts to not do it myself?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
like for what?
You might not think you got a history here, but for some reason, like I told you, motherfuckers just pick you out the group on some weird ass shit. Just out of the blue, just I don't know. I never really understood it, but I see it. So I'm just when I recognize it, I try to address it. But it'll go from like a regular conversation to like, I see why all these people end up in the middle of the street all the time, because it's like as you talking, a motherfucker will be like, he might disagree with a point you're making, but the way they disagree with a point you're making, they'll say, you're the dumbest nigga I've ever met in my life for you to say that. And now in your mind, you got to figure out, am I supposed to have a serious conversation with you right now, or am I supposed to cuss your ass out? Because I could just cuss you out and we can move the fuck on, but I'm trying to get to the end of the conversation, per se. Like yesterday, trying to have that conversation with Haskell yesterday was impossible. Because it was like at every turn, it was like no matter what you present, factual, and it wasn't even just Haskell. It really wasn't. It was Haskell at a minimum. It was mainly all these other people just constantly saying crazy shit. Just saying the wildest shit. Like when you're trying to, that's why I mean I don't be seeing the purpose for some of these conversations, because you can't be trying to get to a point. Because if you was trying to get to a point, you wouldn't have called him the dumbest nigga on earth after he said his point. You just want to fight. And with me, a lot of times I really don't want to. I don't mind maybe a physical fight. I don't really want to even get into that. But a verbal fight where I know the only thing I could do is just say the most diabolical, ignorant shit I could, embarrass myself and my family online trying to talk to you. So a lot of times I stay out of it. Even if I'm interested. Like yesterday, that hair shit in Egypt, that was actually an interesting conversation. So niggas weaponized it and politicized it, and then I didn't give a fuck about it no more. I thought we was getting somewhere. I saw 360 waves too. But I left the conversation learning the sculptures in Egypt aren't schematic. They're natural. See how you learn, like you, that now I learned, so now when somebody else bring it up, I could just move past it. We don't got to talk about that part no more. You know what I mean? But, you know.
So check this out, right? In the Miseducation of the Negro, pull out these two quotes. Carter G. Woodson said about systemic bias. He pointed out that the textbooks, quote, weren't just forgetting Black history. They were actively using biased data to prove Black inferiority. Right? That's crazy. Right? So he's saying that that's what they were actively doing, right? In the school system, right? Then he talked about internalizing the lie. He says, quote, when a student is told every day that they have contributed nothing to civilization, they'll eventually stop trying to contribute. Woodson called this psychological lynching, right? So if they were telling Black people, right, that your history basically ain't start until you came in contact with us, right? And when we enslaved you, right? What do you think that'll do to a motherfucker? That's why I fought so hard against the yacht boys in that conversation. That's why I fought so hard against it. You dig what I'm saying? It was for shit like that. You dig what I'm saying? Now, the problem is people like Sosa and Fetty and them, they do understand history, right? So I think it's dangerous when they say the shit because they already know all of the other history. So they're talking about going forward, right? That you need to start your history right here in 16. So they're talking about the generations that's coming after them that's not going to be grounded, right? You're saying that they should be learning history from this point forward, from slavery forward, when they were afforded the whole history. So it's kind of crazy. So they people don't
Only
realize.
reason I said that was because like we was talking about like African American, like we are a unique thing. Like bringing up Africa is cool, but who's to say if you try to connect me to the kingdom of God, who's to say majority of my ancestry or my maternal, paternal line won't even over there? She could have
That's
been.
an educated question and answer. We ain't even there. But the fact that you know about Ghana and these things, right? You know that the Negro had a history before 1619. So you know that. So you're comfortable. You already got it, right? Are we in agreement with that? You don't feel an inferiority complex.
That thought process you talk about, to be honest, is majority of the conscious community and people you see on the internet that is non-traditional Christians, I guess, or whatever. The main reason why they even go to Africa is because they want to represent something that was before colonialism or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but they just got lost into the abyss somewhere.
But for you and Sosa that know African history, right? So see, Carter G. Woodson is saying that with the history that you know, black back in 1920, niggas ain't know that.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
If you
I didn't even know that in high school, and that wasn't even my like thought process for real.
Exactly. So if you start that, so hold on. So you telling me you didn't know that black people had a history before slavery?
No, I'm not saying that. Like I said, we knew that Angela, the first Angolan, came from the kingdom of Ndongo, but it never thought to me to look into the kingdom of Ndongo when I was in middle school, high school, in depth. Like generally, I knew certain things, but most of the shit I was taught in the education shit was shit around me, historical landmarks, shit like that. So I took.
But again, you understood, right? Nobody ain't teach you that the Negro didn't have a history prior to 1619. Am I correct?
Yeah, I didn't know. But yeah, there was a time where that was prevalent.
Exactamundo.
And that's why I didn't take Sosa serious. Sosa, over time, knowing Sosa, you realize he's really just be moving, trying to exacerbate conversation. Sosa know that shit. He just playing stupid like that.
No,
after that,
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that.
I kind of look at him like he's dumb. Because when it's fuck dude all day. Pause. But I'm saying when you like, at least Fetty was making, when we had that conversation, because I'm remembering the conversation, Fetty. You were making really cogent points. But ever since all that other shit, I come to realize I don't even really know where Sosa stood on that. He was really just like making the shit worse. Like kind of like throwing out, tidbits and this, that, and the other. But the shit he was saying wasn't really all that like I understood your place. I didn't really understand everybody else's everybody else's place. And it was kind of painted. That's why I say fuck it, because it was kind of painted. If you wasn't like a yacht boy, you didn't really understand history, or you didn't understand how the shit worked and all this, that, and other. And that's what I mean in these conversations. Let's have a real conversation. Like Fetty, what you just said.
You know what's so crazy though? You know what's so crazy?
What?
Logic actually agreed with you, Chef, regarding, because if I'm not mistaken, Logic, didn't you say we should start our shit at like in Africa? So I think y'all kind of agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. I said,
we was all on the same page. Sosa kept throwing dumb shit into the argument, into the conversation, but fucking it up.
Yeah, so
like what you just said, I understand, Fetty. I can understand why that works for you. That kind of shit. Like, see, if we all sensible, not on some fake scientific literate shit, just sensible. You know what do Haskell be saying, or you even Chef or Corey be saying? Like, let's just talk and like let's have an understanding of about 80% of the shit, and let's sort out the 20%. But when you
Yeah,
come
but
making it
Fetty,
like we arguing 100%, that shit don't make sense.
but see, the thing with Fetty is the result, and all of us are the result of the progression that Carter G. Woodson and them made. We're part of the progress, but that's also a part of the problem. Think about it. If we're afforded with the understanding now that Black people had a history and cultures prior to the transatlantic slave trade, right? We all, in 2026, that's a given. That's basic. We ain't even got to think about that. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So if that's already that's the ground level coming in now. In 1915, that was rocket fucking science. You had to go do a deep dive research years into that to dig up the history to find that out, right? What you learned was, nigga, y'all wasn't shit. Africa wasn't shit. We found y'all basically like we found the Native Americans over here scratching their ass, not doing nothing until we showed up and got shit moving for them, right? Same type of thing. But what I'm saying is we shouldn't think about how we think now as the base level and judge previous generations when they didn't have that. We're the result of progress. So I'm going to always say, like Corey said, that has to be maintenance. You have to reinforce, because now they're trying to take shit out of history for in the school level again. And we don't know where they'll stop at. You know what I mean? They trying to take lynching out of school and how they teach motherfucking slavery and all of that, right?
Yeah. Sheffrin,
Yes,
I
sir.
have to rebut you on this because you are a child. You might not have been born in the 70s, but you are a child as a result of the 70s worldwide. If we look at Black people worldwide, I just dropped a presentation from England with this guy named Akala, and he was talking about the impact of when James Baldwin went to Stanford University in England and spoke, and the impact he had on Black people in England at that time. As a child of the 70s, where I was exposed to Rastas, where I was exposed to young men going to universities, where I was exposed to books that was far beyond what took me places far beyond my imagination. I feel that today we have stagnated as a people. When I talk to young people today, we have not experienced progress because where we were in the 70s and how we were acknowledging ourselves as a people in a strange land who is about to conquer this land mentally, we have not attained that dream that we spoke of in the 70s. We have not attained that dream that the Black Panther had. We have not attained that dream that James Baldwin had. So to hear you say that we have progress, I do not agree with you.
You don't think we've had any progress since the 70s?
No, I believe that we have progress financially.
So far for it, bro.
Progress
No, I'm not talking about financially, just as a people. just, you don't believe that we have progressed as a people since the 1970s?
No, where we were at in the 70s as a people, as though we viewed us, as though we view ourselves and the progress that we're going to make for self-identification, we have not moved. We have regressed because now we see being Black sometimes as a hindrance. So we don't lead with Blackness anymore. We lead with a profession. We lead with a capacity to achieve commerce, to live in neighborhood, to buy the cars, to wear the jewelry.
There's always been that system within Black people, though, even back even back hundreds of years ago, like regarding even how black people delineated from their own group, like whether they was partying all the time, artisan work or whatever. So we always created a system or a social system within our own group. We was never
No, I'm not talking about a social system. That's why I refer to Sheffrin. Because with Sheffrin will understand and Sheffrin will remember all of those books in his house and all of those conversations that were had with his father and with those people who, even the early Muslim, the early NOI, the early first 1%er, it was about who are you when you look in the mirror and where are we going? Now, we have achieved the economic aspect of it, no doubt about it. We live in nice neighborhoods now, we drive nice cars, and we wear nice jewelry, and we wear nice clothes. But have we won? Sheffrin, when compared to what we were speaking of in the 70s, do you think we have progress in our blackness?
Like I said, I think it's twofold. It's kind of the gift and the curse of what Carter G. Woodson said. He said that he envisioned. Come on, Kel. Hold on. God damn, this girl calling me. Hold on. Y'all continue.
Yeah. But James Baldwin, who to say about the duality of the Negro? Is it duality? Is that we're facing now? Yeah. Is it that?
So what, Stu Peace, are you saying more people or young people, black people, are becoming American first and black second? And back then, people was more so black first and American second. They prioritized.
Right. You are right. You are right. That young black people today want to be more American than to be black, and hope that the America will embrace them in spite of their blackness and overlook their blackness. While 50 years ago, black people understood that, listen, we would never be seen as fully embraced by white Americans as Americans. And we see today in politics in America is that young people believe that if I forego my blackness, if I don't push my blackness, if I don't put it at the forefront, they will accept me as American. All I have to do is sacrifice my blackness. Many people walk around and say, if I sacrifice my blackness, and you see it with the Hodges twin, and you see it with what's her name? When she was on Turning Point, and you see it with Jesse Lee Peterson, that all I have to do is give up my blackness and I will be fully embraced in this culture. But if you don't agree with me, you don't agree with me.
No, it's not that I don't agree. I just, you know what I try to do, Stu P? Even when I'm right on a subject, I try to realize how much social media is influencing my stance on the subject. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, because I kind of figured when you was talking, I was thinking Jesse Lee Peterson, and then you brought him up. That's what I mean by like saying we got problems that maybe we don't have. We got some challenges, or saying that us as a group, you know what I mean? Because if I was to look at social media, I would fully agree with you. But I also think our biggest problem is not just is not even what you're saying. I think you are part of what challenge. You are part of the biggest challenge, and your generation is part of the biggest challenge facing black people in the diaspora in America, however you want to play it, because we stopped listening to y'all. We started treating y'all like y'all was fucking crazy. We started treating y'all like, no, don't talk to my kids and don't cut my child's hair, and like your actual elders within your family, you can go there and get nuggets from those guys. But because of social media, because of the internet, you're looking at these people that somehow figured out a way to live 60, 70, 80 years on Earth, as if because they don't know how to motherfucking log on to World Star Hip Hop, they're idiots. Or they don't know how to make an Instagram page or a Facebook page. I'm telling you, I one of my favorite media guys is Shannon Sharp. One of the reasons is because when I'm talking to people, I'm constantly saying my grandmother taught me, my grandfather taught me, my mother taught me, my father taught me. Those lessons are universal and they go across time. But once we started alienating y'all, then now we can't listen to the elders, our actual elders, not these dumbass niggas in the conscious community. And we can't listen to anybody if they went to jail, you know, stuff like that. It's like there's so many people that got to be X'd out for us to listen to that you damn near got to follow whatever it is that you believe and just go through problems through life. Like, fuck it. All right, I fucked up here. Let me figure this shit out. I fucked up here. Let me figure this shit out. You don't really get you think your parents is out of touch, but no, a lot of those lessons are even from Carter G. Woodson all the way back to the Negro Week. There's lessons that you can learn from that in 2026. But now we sit up here trying to figure out if the shit when it turns into a month even fucking matters. Because we're in the social media age where we critique and question every goddamn thing. Some things need to be left the fuck alone. I had to somehow yesterday defend my love for Martin Luther King in a room full of black people. The craziest shit ever. Like, we talk about white people. I had to somehow like say I love Martin Luther King, but all right, if it bothers you, I only love him this much. Like, shit's crazy, bro. So it ain't
yesterday. No.
Yeah, this was
let
yesterday.
me cut it. Yesterday, I had to endure a black man calling one of the greatest black figures in the world a nigger 4 times straight without any apology, with a smirk on them face. And then at the end of it say, I'm sorry. No, you can't sorry for that. You can't unrape. You can't unrape. You can't unmurder. You can't unkill. And when you look at it as we now fall into this situation where we feel that to celebrate your blackness is stupid because it don't do anything for you. It can't move you forward. But I am happy that Trump win, because what Trump showing us, and it's not Trump alone, it's the system that Trump is now encouraging. The system now showing us is that, listen, you have to know who you are as a person or as a people. Because to be an American is not as easy as you think. And your color, although race is a social construct, it is real in the Americas. So abandon yourself for your blackness, for your Americanness, and you're going to find yourself alone. James Baldwin was telling you that, 1,000 people was telling you that before. Because to be black now is not important. It's not important because it's a social construct. When everybody telling you that, when everybody is celebrating themselves, we can't celebrate ourselves. But I think
it's always the niggas that ain't got nothing to lose telling you that race is a social construct.
Right.
It's always a motherfucker that they live in the real world, but they really be on some white black shit. They hate white men and white people, but race is a social construct. Like, make that make sense. Then why the fuck do you hate them so much? Why, when you think something gone wrong in your life, you think it's the white man that did it? You know, I listen to people when they think they know how politics works. They're like, but you know, because when they do that to us and we're not in a position, I hate to hear this shit. We's not in a position to be pushing no policy in the United States of America. Nick, do you understand how many black people is pushing policy all the governor of Chef State is a black man. You can't keep doing all this white and black shit. Not saying you still, I'm just saying in general, those people that say, me and you on the same page with the social construct. But when they say, but see, that's what I mean, they ain't got nothing to lose. Because then when I say, well, what about Westmore? Governor of the great state of Maryland, a potential presidential candidate. And they say, well, he just got lucky. You know, he was selected. He wasn't elected. You can't fucking win. And the nigga that's telling you he got selected, not elected, is a crackhead. A crackhead motherfucker. A motherfucker telling me that I can't even listen to him. I can't even have hope in Westmore. I can't have hope in Warnock down in Georgia. I can't have hope in Abrams down in Georgia. I can't have no hope in black people in politics. And it's coming from a motherfucker that fucked off his whole 80s, drinking, smoking, and fucking up his life. And you trying to fuck up the life of young black people in 2026 because you couldn't figure it out in the fucking the crack era. Fuck you.
Right. Listen. I lead with my blackness because that's the first thing everybody else see. You can be a millionaire, but if you're black, the first thing anybody see in the society that we live in is that you're black. Don't try hide it. Don't try disguise it. When you step into a room, the first thing they see is that you're black. And the second thing they see is when you open your mouth, them say, he's intelligent, he's bright. We don't like feeling it, but we know it when we see it. You can automatically see, especially people of different races, when you open your mouth, you automatically see, they set the dial back because they realize that this is no fool.
Yeah, he's not one of them.
This is no fool.
No, that's the word they use. It's a backhanded compliment. You speak so well.
Yeah.
How were you like it's ridiculous. You speak so well with such great diction. What so niggas don't? I guess that's what you're going with.
Right. And
you know what I mean? People say, how did you get this far? I'm pretty sure they say to you, how you get this far? Your story must be amazing. Fuck you. This ain't the conversation for me. Shit like that get me mad.
No, but
because you get the black people that take it as a compliment. They're like, and then that's how they end up over there.
Yeah, I've never taken it as a compliment.
You read so well. What the hell does that even mean?
And you're going to tell me, say, your history no matter, your color no matter. When the first thing people see is that. And sometimes you automatically get a setback. You start 5 paces back because of your color. And some people go tell you that that's not true.
Yeah. But y'all got anything else?
Let me say this. My good friend take up the book, show a book the other day, and it's not an easy subject. It was network security. Not an easy subject, right? And I know that him study hard because him have to prove to the world that in spite of you seeing a black man, you seen the brightest man, you seen the best man for the job. We always have to be done doing that. So I can never leave my blackness behind.
Nah, you're not supposed to. You said it. Sometimes 2Ps, a person can be a good example based off what they saying, but most people are good examples based off what they do.
Of course.
It's a lot better to watch a motherfucker what he's doing than to, because you can at least motherfuckers say anything, like we know all too well. But y'all got anything else? Want me to shut the live down, or where y'all at? Everybody pretty much sound
I think we did. I think it came together pretty decent. We turned it into a fruitful conversation. I mean, maybe I find it ironic that I'm so consistent in what I'm saying, and yet I still need context to say what I'm saying. That's strange to me. Makes me feel like what I'm being said is constantly being trying to manipulate it when I keep saying the same thing. But I think anyway, I'm getting off topic, but I think we turned it into something nice.
No, it's anti the community that's listening that we deal with every day. Keep telling lies,
anti. It actually isn't anti. I don't look at it.
No, I don't mean anti in a negative way. It's anti-grift and anti-snake oil.
It definitely
it's the other direction. It's like, I don't need to watch your course, watch your show. I don't need to give you money. I don't need to do this. I know I kind of got an idea what I need to do. And if enough people follow you, you fucking up the grift from the snake oil. I'm telling you, bro. That's why you catch the hell. You catch a lot of hell, but I would say that's definitely part of it.
It's like you are a person with business experience, and you come in and see some things that I might could do a little bit different that could make me more efficient and effective. And then I turn around and say that you're anti-business.
Exactly.
That's how
I get it from that point of view. I get it. I just wouldn't get too caught up in what a lot of niggas is saying to you. You have a worldview. I think it's serving you pretty well. I try to listen to everybody and take advice from a lot of people, but if you haven't even come close to what I've done in my little blip on this earth, I'm not listening. I hear you talking and I'm gonna hear you out, but I'm not listening because I can't take in all that negativity, bro. I'm gonna say it again. A motherfucker telling you what you can't do, he's talking to himself. He's letting his insecurities out and the things that he can't do somehow be the barometer for how you're supposed to live your life, and that's just unrealistic.
Thunder, where you at, Thunder?
Morning.
Hit me up later, man. I'm be up in a while.
All right, bro.
I got an early morning tomorrow, but should have a nice long week.
Hold on, Logic. Don't go nowhere. We got to figure out what's up with Thunder.
He on a treadmill right now running.
Thunder watched that whole video and now he don't say nothing.
Now he's speechless. I said when he came in the room, he was doing all that talking, and now he was having a hard time putting his words together and getting his thoughts out.
When he first came in, he said, do my mic work? Nigga, your mic sound perfect.
Perfectly.
Yeah. Now that he heard him say it himself.
Now he watched the whole thing. It's worse.
I heard from Thunder all day.
Yeah, it's worse when you hear the whole thing, not just that first part. When you hear all the corroborating shit after it, where you like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Wait a fuck.
Became an atheist.
When he realized that video wasn't recorded in 2000. In year 2000.
He thought that shit was the first preview iPhone that passed out. Fuck out of here.
This nigga tried to tell us that shit was recorded in the year 2000.
It was on a camcorder. Oh, okay. Don't worry about it, bro. If you expect nothing, you'll never be disappointed.
The mic don't even work no more. That is crazy.
This is the most loud and proud motherfucker I've ever heard in the conscious community. Is that a lawsuit?
Motherfucker worked perfectly when he wouldn't have called Martin Luther King niggas, though. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That shit came in to the conversation in Dolby Surround Sound Digital. That shit was loud and clear. But don't worry about it, Thunder, bro. We've been there, bro. we was where he was at a while ago.
Yeah. I mean, it happened to me a couple times in this community. I think when we found out that Dr. Ben ain't had no degrees, that fucked me up.
Wait, hey, you know what's funny?
That almost took me out, yo.
Somebody put a video of Dr. Ben in there talking to these
Corey.
black people.
Corey said black people ain't believe him back in the day.
They said that I need all of these PhDs. And I don't have a PhD, and now I'm teaching the PhDs. Like, get the fuck out of here.
So that's why I'm saying that at no time was black
the
people.
niggas believe him.
Right.
The crowd was just staring at him like, man, this nigga's stone crazy. This nigga is YouTube. This nigga was the House of Consciousness before the House of Consciousness. What the fuck are you talking about? They said I need degrees.
That nigga.
And then that nigga convinced himself that he was now the one teaching the PhDs.
So they fired them at Temple.
Bro.
So hold on, the black alumni at Temple have researched them and found out that they didn't have that he didn't have the credentials that they said, and they got him up out of there. So then he gonna get mad at the black people for wanting you to be credentialed. Like black people can't win for losing. So they supposed to send their children to your school to get educated by a motherfucker who not even qualified to be
You can't even
in
get
that bitch
in the
teaching.
motherfucker. He don't even have the qualifications for Temple to send him an application to apply to the school.
They got him up out of there at Temple, yo. That's crazy.
He up there freestyling.
But he was mad at black people for demanding that he have the degrees. Like, so we should just grab motherfuckers off the street and tell them to, man, educate our children and we should pay top notch for that shit? Get the fuck out of here.
He's just running game.
Now, if they was giving a discount for your courses, you feel me? Like if that shit was like gym or something, like I don't know.
Nah, I can't even. I fuck around and get
I don't even see a way. Like even if he off campus and is non-credited, I'm like the fact that it's associated with it is a problem, bro. You don't think so?
Yeah, and then now I got to worry about getting a fucking ticket on my good car I pay for on Dr. Benjamin Buchanan's Way Street in New York City for some fucking reason. Like, come on, man.
They should have enough respect for the students' time to tell them, you know what I'm saying? Not
they
let them
fired
go to
that nigga Logic. They fired that nigga Logic. All right, go look at the record. Temple fired his ass. So we ain't wrong, yo. We ain't wrong, trust me.
We just on the right side. We on the right side of history. We just ain't the loudest with the greatest marketing plan. We just I'd rather be on the right side of this shit than be motherfucking accepted into some shit I don't even want to be a part of.
It don't resonate that well when a nigga from Indiana say, "Oh, he is faithful salesman." You know what I mean? Niggas looking at me like, man, get your country ass out of here.
Country ass nigga. Go build America, motherfucker. It don't make no sense. I start saying, listen, if I ever start getting accepted in this community, that'll probably be when I leave. Because now I know I'm fucking up. I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing something ain't right. If a motherfucker ever say, you know, you one of us, I'm logging off, bro. I'm dropping Mamba out.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I'm dropping the mic, because apparently y'all ain't never gonna get it. Niggas
because if they start accepting what we're saying, that means that they see us as another grift. Because all they accept is grifts, right?
That's the only communication they understand.
Yeah, so we know we fucking up when they say, yeah.
Yeah, it is. I like that.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a way to put it.
That is crazy.
Motherfucker at the end. So you ain't gonna, motherfucker, as soon as he done talking, so you ain't gonna, but what about like donation or nothing? You ain't doing none of that?
You don't want my cash app?
None of that? You don't want to you don't want to fix my credit? Are you sure? Because I give it to you. Nah, man.
When classes start.
Yeah, when you
imagine me holding a
do a class on it, bro.
Imagine me charging mother and holding a class on this shit that we do. This shit is insane.
I'm gonna tell you this much though, Chef.
Insane.
Logic reached this motherfucking boiling point earlier.
Oh, Logic was on everybody's ass. I stayed out the way.
I got on mute when that nigga said, "But you on this motherfucker for cheeseburgers."
I stayed out the way.
Bro, I almost left the Discord, bro, because I already know. I don't know. He didn't want to have a good conversation.
No, he didn't. Logic was already there. He wanted it with stupids. First it started with stupids. And then it switched over to Reggie. I said, yeah, Logic ain't letting this go.
Yeah, no.
Hey, but y'all know how like you make fun of your cousin all the time. But as soon as somebody else starts doing it, it's like, hey man, look.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about Reggie. You know what I mean? Like, I can cuss Reggie out, but I don't listen. I don't like when y'all cuss Reggie. No, I don't.
Be like, hey man, stop, bro. Stop. Let him believe it. Let him believe it. Yeah, yo, I knew Reggie was mad when that nigga said, and you uneducated nigger. This nigga Logic was like,
with the hard
he didn't
ER.
like the word nigger. He hit that nigga with the hard ER. Uneducated nigger.
That was
Shit
crazy.
crazy.
That nigga
That
hit
was
with
crazy.
the how much education do you got? That motherfucker will hit you in the back of the head with that education.
Gonna
In
get
a
you.
heartbeat. Where'd you go to school?
I'm telling y'all, Reggie is who the rest of these niggas wish they was. They wish they sat at the feet of the masters. They didn't. He did.
They gotta stop treating him like that. They gotta stop treating him like this.
You know what it is about what I was gonna tell Reggie earlier while he was on here. It seemed like it's a running thing because he talked about how he was just a young college student and he didn't get the credit for doing that writing.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like it's a running thing that Reggie gives his intellectual integrity away kind of for free, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the things that he wouldn't reinforce. Like, I mean, you can say that Reggie's pseudo and all that, but he do know how to put shit in. He can write the shit down, right?
That's what
Like
Chef said yesterday.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, I think Reggie is a running theme, like, because even in Simon, like, Reggie should be the premier guy, right? He done a lot of shit in the back of the scenes and didn't get credit for it. And he don't
They don't take
nothing.
him serious. They don't take him serious, and they should. I mean, I'm not gonna say because but see, once again, before I get too far off my actual point, it's his fault though, because when you constantly dim your light for grifters and snake oil salesmen to turn their light on, then I can't feel bad, bro. I can't feel bad for you. You getting out of the way of these niggas that's saying crazy shit. And you not like, I'd like to hear what he thought about that video. But you can't really even talk about the video because him and Chief X is at it. It's because Chief X did the video.
Listen.
Oh, there you go. There you go. His mic working.
Hey. Here for the math.
Oh, what y'all was talking? Y'all was talking. Hey, my bad, bro. I know y'all was talking.
Me too, though, Tommy. Go ahead. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
I'm gonna holler at y'all, bro.
We don't want to talk to that nigga.
He hollering at you already.
You ain't gotta talk to him. He gonna line you up though.
Lord have mercy.
Hey, Chef, what did I tell you?
Now it's our fault that he got a video out
he
there.
said that on that video.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy.
The shit that been on Sidetta, Chief X, we saw it months ago. It said we're not even touching this shit with a 10-foot pole. Let the other motherfuckers see it. We talk about it, and now all of a sudden it's us, bro. But you know what? Whatever. And you fell for it. And you fell for it.
All naysayers. He gonna line y'all up.
So what did you say about the video? You said
he should be lining you up. Apparently, you ain't got a problem with it.
Right.
He ain't lining you up too. You ain't got no problem with the video, huh? You think it's all just it was AI? Huh?
That's good point. Good point.
So he lining all of us up. So you on that side of the argument. With that York didn't do it then. You
know what?
I'm Armin Ross squad, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yo, how did you go crazy on Polite? Now I gotta question your stance during the whole Polite debacle.
Right, so the thing was with him, right?
Gotta be consistent, Thunder. Go ahead. I'm listening.
You about to lie like a motherfucker.
Yeah, of course I am. You already know it. He got something. He shared something with me, dog, and he got several clips, and they're going to debunk you all's.
Boy, it ain't debunking me. That's his video.
Debunk.
Yeah. What do you mean?
This ain't a conscious community conversation. This is humanity. This ain't no fucking.
Talking about humanity. He has spoken out against pedophiles and child molesters several times, and he's gonna show it.
Except for the one he liked, though.
Wait. Hey, Thunder, hold on.
So then he contradicted himself.
Yeah, before we get spun out of control, how the fuck did you feel about it? Fuck all this other
That's all I want to hear.
Where do you stand?
If you heard the conversation, right, with me and him, I think it was me. I think it was on this channel when he came on the channel. I asked him about. Oh no, it might have been on his channel. I asked him about.
Couldn't have been.
I asked him about what you call it, York. I don't know anything about that. I wasn't involved in none of this stuff at that time, so I don't know nothing about no Alakai York. So I asked him about it. And
none of us was.
But I'm saying, have you gone? Like, I'm about to go back and look at some of the stuff.
I appreciate my algorithm. I ain't doing that.
You know, okay.
Yeah, I want. What's your question about?
No, wait, Cuban. Don't before you get off the hook. How did you feel? I don't know how you could spin this well. How did you feel after watching it?
Dog, why are you trying to? You know what I'm saying? What you doing, dog?
I'm asking.
I see what this is.
Okay. All right, then. I ain't gonna ask you. I ain't gonna
see what this is.
This nigga is in on it.
Oh, God.
Oh, that nigga can't even have some simple fucking.
All right, what's how I felt about it? All right, so when I looked at the whole video, y'all saw me looking at it last night, right? So, it was hard for me to pin down. And I stick with that though, for like no lie. It was hard for me to pin down on the time period.
What the time period?
Wait, Corey. That's another distraction. No, don't fall for another distraction.
That's not a distraction.
Stop.
Yeah, go ahead. Let him go.
I'm not going to allow it. Let him talk.
All right. So when I'm looking at, I just need the time. But he said that before or after.
Can I answer this damn question?
Hold on, Cuban. It's after in the video. Hold on, Cuban. In the video.
You couldn't have watched the whole video then.
You couldn't have watched the whole video because in the video, the light-skinned dude that looked like Bobby Hemmett, that motherfucker
had the glasses on.
No, not the nigga with the not Sosa with the glasses and the headdress. I'm talking about the Bobby Hemmett looking
little fat short dude,
yeah. He says, and I quote, he's already been charged, arrested, and sentenced. He says that in the video. So you just I don't know exactly. I only watched the shit twice, but he says it in the video. So this is post 2004. So this is after he's been sentenced.
The light skinned guy with the Egypt glasses?
No, I just told you, not Sosa. The Bobby Hemmett looking nigga.
Are you talking about the video where they're in Atlanta on the street?
Yeah.
Okay.
The chubby light skinned guy when he's talking to Sosa and the other guys.
That was 2013.
How you know it's 2013?
Because when you go on the channel of Sorrow Ether 9 that fuck the video, like when you go look at videos, it'll tell you when the video came out. Came
that's
out
when he posted the video. The actual filming of the video is what he's asking. He's not talking about when the video got posted to YouTube.
I think the video post date, I think all of that, why wouldn't that be consistent?
It's within the same year. Yeah, it's within the same year.
Yeah, so if York
all I know, only thing I'm comfortable saying is that
I said it was post-COVID. I said it was post-COVID.
Hold on, Corey. The only thing that I could say beyond the shadow of a doubt is that he was already sentenced and in jail. Because if you follow the conversation, it's really, and that's what makes it even weirder, because what the video is actually showing is dude is somehow chastising these niggas for selling Dr. York books while Dr. York is in jail. That's how the whole, if you really watch it, that's the whole beginning of the conversation. He's trying to figure out why these niggas is on the corner selling Dr. York books and Dr. York is in jail.
Let me be matter of fact. All right. So and I like how y'all doing this. It's real nice.
Can I just say this one piece?
Go ahead.
May of 2002, York and his wife get locked up. That video, 2013, do the math. 2017, the documentary that I was in, that Chuck Morgan was in, that Onk was in, that Lord Jamar was in, different people were in. That's 2017. Listen to what
that documentary.
Listen to what
that kills the
hold on, no.
Brass, you don't know what that means, Brass.
No, I know what Cuban's saying. I just want to be clear. Hold on. For people that are Cuban, for people that are just watching the video, what Thunder is asking you is based on what happens in the video. What is the date of the video? So if you're doing it that way, you can say 2013, you can say 2017, but that's speculation. The only thing that you could say beyond the shadow of a doubt is that it was after he was sentenced, because, and there's a reason why I keep saying that, is because what was told to him was, and I guess it was to change the meaning of Dr. York didn't do it, was that it was before he was sentenced. That mainly all the evidence had to come out. The nigga hadn't gone to jail. But in the video, once again, the guy says he was sentenced already. Y'all making that.
I'm saying it was a decade after.
I'm not riding with y'all on that.
I'm looking at how I'm looking at the cause.
It's not speculation. I was in the documentary.
But that documentary ain't got nothing to do with the video.
No. What? See, that's why you didn't know what that meant.
Why can't y'all just let me talk?
Yeah, let him get it out, Brad.
I don't understand
Hey, just by saying your point. Don't start fucking say that for the baby, my nigga. Just talk.
But this
save
is
all that shit for the babies,
every
my nigga.
time I talk,
just
I get cut off.
Just
go
talk.
Ahead,
No,
baby somewhere missing tears because you on this bitch crying. Just
my
talk.
favorite message.
I'm gonna say it in front of everybody, like I told you, we spoke private. You're doing the same shit that Onk does in his district.
Hey, go ahead.
We try.
That was fair. I'm tired of all that. Say that shit
that was
for the
fair,
baby,
Brad.
my nigga. I'm so sick of hearing
that. Why y'all gonna do that to my favorite man?
Everybody in this bitch get cut off, bro. I don't want to hear no fucking speech every time he get cut off.
But he was about to break it down, though.
That's fine. Well, let him break it down. But I don't want to get chastised. You know.
All right, Brad. Let me get my.
Nigga, just compare this to Unc, my nigga. Come on.
Let me ask y'all a question. All right. So if this was
every time.
If the video was, you can take them off mute, man. If the video was post, which I don't think
conviction,
but if it was post conviction, yes, that is
playing games, yo. I don't even want to talk to you no more.
Listen to what I'm saying. I'm asking.
Deplorable, not reprehensible.
In 2017, the documentary came out. 2016, she started filming the documentary. 2017, it was released. 2013, 2017, do the math, 4 years. 2002, he was locked up. It's a chronological order. Hello.
That's not what you saying don't make no fucking sense.
It does make sense. You're not listening. If he got locked up in May of 2002,
that video.
Huh?
The shit.
You're talking about another video, probably.
Because on the video in the one that he was in, the documentary, his story as to why he left is not the same story what he was saying in 2013 with the Porky. That's the point. And the dates is important. The years is important.
You don't know that video took place in 2013.
It was 2003. It was 2003.
Go look at it right now.
The only thing you can, like, y'all niggas be
really
hold on. What we shouldn't do, because this is the same shit Corey be talking about, I be talking about. You don't have to add no flavor to some shit that's completely seasoned already. The shit, if based on the conversation, the shit says, the guy says sentenced. So in that video, that guy and nobody corrected him. So that means that he was arrested, jailed, charged, jailed, and sentenced already. So when you can say he was sentenced in April of 2004, the only thing that Thunder is trying to figure out, he don't care if it was 13, 17, 8, 7, whatever. He was told that it was before he was sentenced.
Unc ain't never tell him that. I don't believe
he told us that.
No, I don't believe that.
Right.
That's what he said.
Unc did not. He's misquoting Unc. I promise you he is.
Okay. That's fine. All right. Now, so let's answer the question. So if the video was after
conviction
was sentenced and in jail, and it was I would say I disavow those comments, and they were reprehensible, right?
Deplorable.
I'm sorry. Now I want to let me do a full stop on that. Full stop. Okay. Now, with the video that I've seen, and I want Cuban to speak on it. I don't know what documentary he's talking about, but on the video I have with him, it's a minute, 2 clip, whatever it is. He clearly states that he disavows any and every pedophile, any child molester. Now, if it was clearly after, if you can look at the quality of the video, if you look at that 2013 video should not be that bad in 2013, bro. That's impossible. That video really looks horrible. So that's why I'm having the problem.
That's why I'm just saying 2004.
That's camera might have been outdated though.
But that's why I'm not putting nothing else on it, Thunder. Because I can only, if I know he was sentenced in 2024. I mean, if he's sentenced in 2004 and the guy says sentenced, we could stay there. But that problem that Cuban's having, we already had it. That's what I'm saying. What Cuban's saying don't got nothing to do with the video in 2004. Because the statement in the video Cuban's talking about ain't even about York. It's about Bambaataa. The documentary is about Africa Bambaataa. It ain't about Dr. York. It's just
okay, but
it's just.
I know that, but he's talking about Bambaataa. He's talking about York in the documentary.
I know, but I'm saying.
Wife asked me a question.
I know, but what I'm saying is, when you try to connect all of that shit without knowing the original date of the, if you don't know the original date of the video, it's a flawed methodology. It don't make sense.
Sloppy.
Because that's what I'm saying. You don't need to. I'm trying to actually. You think I'm trying to hurt what you're saying? I'm trying to help you. You don't. You like y'all niggas need to say. You don't need to make nothing up. The shit is already there. One video versus another. It doesn't matter when.
I'm going both ways with it. If he said it, pause. My bad.
Pause.
Yeah, my bad.
If you hear that,
yeah, I said it twice, and that's.
I got you, brother.
If he said it afterwards, then that was a reprehensible statement. But I know for a fact, I got video evidence of him at least cleaning it up afterwards. Now Corey's going to go with the statute of limitations, and that's fine. But he definitely cleaned it up afterwards. So all this is pending the original date of the video. So that's my statement. My statement is pending whenever that video was taking place. I think that to give him any sort of big ups after those, after the conviction. It was
clearly after the conviction. How could they be?
Problem.
Hold on. How could the argument? How could the statements in the video actually be in the video if it wasn't post conviction?
Can I share the screen? Can I share? I can't.
Why do we gotta jump through hoops about simple shit?
Let him share. Hey, chef. Let him share the screen. He's sharing it for.
He can share the
screen.
I'm
talking about. I want to play the whole video. So
but I'm not watching that whole video. But you can share the screen. But I'm not watching that whole video.
If they're sitting there saying that I don't believe he did it. I don't believe he did it, meaning whatever he was accused of doing had
They're saying he
already
didn't do.
happened.
Right, it already happened.
It was already out. What are we talking about here? Now
He
they
was
already
charged.
talked about, listen, they were talking about why are you selling these books, right?